All right, I think that we are live, and hopefully my audio is going out. I'll give just a second here to get a few people to join. I've sent this out on Twitter and Facebook, so hopefully we'll get some folks joining. So good evening, everyone. This is MemphisWeather.net meteorologist Eric Procius and team here live streaming on YouTube tonight. We haven't done this in quite some time, but I thought we'd give it another opportunity here. And so I've got with me a co-meteorologist, Richard Hosney, who is in South Haven. I'm broadcasting from Bartlett, and have two of our excellent Team MWN interns on with us tonight as well. Kayla Gordon from Starkville and Dorian Miner from the Atlanta area. So we've got it all covered. If anybody's power goes out, we got backup, and hopefully we'll be able to give you some good information here for the next little while. So bring you up to speed kind of where we're at. We've had a couple of pretty strong storms that have moved through the area already. I'm going to zoom this out to just look at the reflectivity values here. So we've had a couple of storms that have moved through. One of them did some pretty significant damage in wind as it moved northeast, went through the northern part of Crittenden County, stayed north of West Memphis and Marion, and then cut across Tipton County, resulting in more damage up around Covington. That storm is now well on its way up past Humboldt. That's the storm we see up to the north, moving off to the northeast. We then turned our attention back to the southwest, and there are a couple of storms that were down in that area that we've been watching. Two of them, one of them, the northern storm, is turning more to the northeast and pretty weak, actually. It didn't encounter quite as good of instability and good air for generating anything too strong after initial tornado warnings on it. But the southern storm has definitely been holding together. And that storm has moved through Marvell. There's been some damage in Marvell. That's west of Helena down on US 49. It is moving northeast and crossing the Mississippi River into Tunica County now. And actually that's going to be not too far from Casino Strip. It looks like the Robinsonville area is where the casinos are. And then the town of Tunica is well south of that. So it's kind of going in between there over the community of Hollywood. And that particular storm has had large hail in it. Radar indications of up to 2.5 to 3 inch size hail. It also has caused some damage from a tornado over on the west side of the river before it starts moving across the river, basically right now. So we're zoomed into that storm. There is a tornado warning on that storm. It does include still the far eastern portion of Lee County, the northern half of Tunica County, including the town of Tunica, and also Casino Strip, Robinsonville, the far southern section of Crittenden County, including Horseshoe Lake, and western sections of DeSoto County, west of I-55, and that would be just to the west of Hernando and Horn Lake and South Haven, but it will include Walls and the little town of Memphis, Mississippi, that is just south of Memphis, Tennessee. So this storm right now is basically on the river, moving towards Hollywood. These storms are all moving at a very rapid clip, anywhere from 50 to 60 miles an hour to the east-northeast. And the rotation with this storm is pretty evident here on, we're looking at the wind velocity signatures on the right-hand side. And so the area kind of right along the river, where there's a few bends in the river there west of Tunica, is where we see some pretty significant rotation going on down in that area. And this storm is moving to the east-northeast, so it's generally headed towards the community of Hollywood and pointing kind of somewhat right towards Hernando. So we're going to keep a close eye on that as the storm moves to the east-northeast. The warning does not extend into Shelby County. This storm right now does not appear to be on a path for Shelby County. The northern side of it might get far southern Shelby County with some rain. There is a pretty good hail signature on this storm as well. And right now showing about inch to inch and a half size hail. So that's quarter to $half size hail to the west of the town of Tunica. Again, moving in their general direction, or the Highway 61 corridor, and then moving east from there. So we're going to keep an eye on that storm as it continues to move to the east. We are, as was mentioned on social media and all over the place, this area is under a high risk of severe weather. A high risk is rare. It is the level 5 out of 5 category from the Storm Prediction Center, who issues these outlooks. We've been watching this potential for 5 days now, at least, and each day the threat has kind of increased a little bit as confidence increased in the forecast, and some of the parameters that are not discernible 5 days out have become such. And so, as of late this morning, this was a high-risk area. Tornadoes were the primary threat. Damaging wind is another threat, and there's a pretty good inclination for hail as well. While we're letting that storm kind of move along, I am going to pan back off to the west just a little bit, and I'm actually going to switch radars here for a minute at Little Rock. And so this is what's behind those storms. This is actually a fair amount less than I expected to see at this point of the evening. A lot of these storms here are going to be moving to the northeast, but the cold front is pushing in from the northwest as well, and it should start to shove this stuff off to the east as it approaches. So certainly can't rule out some of this activity in south central Arkansas moving up towards the metro area. You're going to want to keep an eye on that. We've got another 2 hours, 2.5 hours or so before we can sound the all clear. But the promising thing about all of this is that the cells kind of back to the west of this storm in Tunica are really not a whole lot to write home about, which is excellent. So right now, this is mostly the only game in town from a metro perspective. There are bigger storms up to the north. This storm that went through Tipton County is now up here around Huntington and Camden. It went through the Humboldt area just north of Jackson, and it has put down tornadoes along that route as well, or along that path as well. And then there's a tornado warm storm up in far southeastern Missouri. But overall, it looks like what we may end up with here is 3 or 4 supercells that have produced long track tornadoes with a lot of big gaps in between them. So we will see how that plays out over the next couple of hours, but we're taking just a minute here to look a little bit closer at this storm that's moving into Tunica County now, and that the rotation on that storm is getting pretty close to the town of Tunica. I'm going to switch back over to velocity products showing the wind, and right in that area there is that might even show up. There it is with the little circles on here. So this is the blues and greens are very strong velocities or very strong winds blowing toward the radar, which is up here in Memphis. So they are moving from south to north. In this small area of red is rotation, showing the rotation with the wind velocities moving away from the radar. We should note also that we're looking up at about 4,000 feet above the ground level here. So this is well up into the storm where actually the mesocyclone is taking place. We can't see the ground that well from this distance away from the storm. But we do see a radar signature that has somewhat of a hook echo on the back side of that storm. And we can also take a look at our 4-panel display here, and I'm going to switch this to Vil. So we would be looking also for where those velocity signature that shows rotation is perhaps coincident with a drop in what are called CC values, this correlation coefficient, just one of the advanced products that's on the Doppler radars. And the blues are basically what we are looking for the potential for debris when it is located in the place where we would expect that debris to be, which is right around where the rotation in the storm is. So basically what we have is the reflectivity has a nice little hook along the back side of it. Right in front of that hook echo, we have the rotation going on in the wind, and at the same place, we are also getting lowered velocity or lowered CC values. All of this pointing to the likelihood of a tornado on the ground, and I am getting side note here that chasers that are on that particular storm are reporting a tornado on the ground on the backside of that meso. So that does jive with what we're seeing. This is a pretty large rotating storm that is right over the center of Tunica County, and on the backside of that is where we are seeing the hook echo, the velocity rotation, and a little bit of debris down in there too. This is not quite the debris signature we were seeing with some of the more larger storms, the more mature storms that we had earlier that went by to the north. That is a good thing, certainly. But there's also a pretty good hail signature on the backside of the storm. So, town of Tunica up to Hollywood. This is on Highway 61, going right through where Tunica Arena is. You folks in that area need to be in your safe place. This storm does have a tornado on the ground. You need to be in shelter right now. And that is going to be passing Highway 61 here probably in the next 5 to 10 minutes, and then continuing off to the northeast. Also within the path of that storm is going to be northeastern sections of Tunica County, kind of a rural area. This would be right along, trying to get my map there, State Route 3 from Banks, moving south from there, and then over into southwest DeSoto County. So folks here in Hernando, Arkabutla Dam area, Arkabutla, maybe just north of Coldwater. This storm looks like it's going to pass north of Coldwater, but really close to Hernando. You are not technically in the warning right now, but this warning goes until 8 o'clock, so another 30 minutes. In another 30 minutes, if this holds together, I expect that you will also be under tornado warning there in Hernando. You've got roughly 20 to 30 minutes before the storm reaches you, and then moving northeast from there. So, we're going to be watching Highway 78 coming down out of Tennessee into northeastern DeSoto County, I-22, basically, the I-22 corridor, Olive Branch down to Byhalia. This is probably 45 minutes or so out from there. We're going to keep an eye on it, but you need to be ready in case that warning comes out for you there.
Eric, Eric, it does look like the tornado is about to cross 51 right around the Tunica airport, so right through the town of Tunica, just south of the arena, and it is apparently about to cross 61 down there in Tunica, so folks in Tunica should be in your safe place right now.
Yep, and that's what the radar is showing as well. Is it's basically that couplet that's in there of rotational velocity is basically right over where the Tunica Arena is on Highway 61. If you live in that area, you know exactly where I'm talking about. So that is where this storm is, and it's moving pretty quickly to the northeast. Your time has run out. You need to be in your safe place if you are down in that area. And the folks in Hernando, you need to be preparing and getting to your safe place in a very short period of time as well. I am seeing that they are working on stopping traffic on I-55 down in Tunica County. I'm sorry, nope, I-55 over in DeSoto County ahead of this storm coming. So there is some efforts being made to try and get sheriff's deputies or Mississippi Highway Patrol to stop traffic where this tornado is going to be going through, and hopefully save some cars from being turned over and so forth as well up that way. But that is still another 20 minutes or so away, we hope. So that should be enough time to be able to do that.
So if you're along the DeSoto Tate County line, Arkabutla Lake area, be aware that storm is headed your way. It's headed towards Pritchard next, and right there on the Tunica Tate DeSoto County line as it moves east, eventually moving, looks like it's going to move between Hernando and Coldwater, so right through the Coldwater bottom there. Looks like the path that this storm is going to take is through the Coldwater bottom, hopefully staying south of Hernando. Hopefully it does not go through Hernando, but we're still a little ways out to see exactly where this storm is going to go. But right now it is just east of Highway 61, basically over the Tunica Airport, and is headed to the east. It does have damage reported with it. We do have reports of power flashes, trying to get some eyes on the ground to see if there's actually any damage there, but we haven't heard anything as of yet. But if you're in the Tunica area, over towards Pritchard and again towards the Coldwater Bottom area, just be aware that storm is headed your way. You should be in your safe place or heading to your safe place right now.
Great. Yes, all perfect advice. And it does look like I'm seeing. Seems like the velocity signature is maybe improving just a little bit. We definitely have some extra reflectivity values kind of on that hook. That leads me to believe we might have some debris that the radar is picking up on the backside of that pretty close to where the town of Tunica is now. I think the center of that storm is just north of Tunica, right around 61, and so that could be fallout, debris falling out on the backside of that, down over Tunica now, as that continues to press off to the east northeast. And we'll look again, but the hail signature is pretty impressive back there as well, showing 2-inch hail. Right kind of along and west of 61, where the core of that storm is aloft, the strongest part of the storm, not near the surface, but up at 10, 15, 20, 30,000 feet. Probably getting pretty good hail at that height, on the north side of that storm, and that would be falling out as well down around the Hollywood area. Most of this appears to be, as best I can tell here, is except for the very heavy rain and probably some pretty gusty winds, the casinos themselves look to have missed, fortunately, the core of that storm. But would not be surprised if they got a little bit of hail up there and definitely some wind and rain for sure. So.
We did get a comment on YouTube. Will this stay south of Memphis? Yes, it will stay south of Memphis.
Yes. Yep. And we see that comment. Thank you for that. And that does, when this was 45 minutes or so ago, I wasn't so sure of that answer. But right now, I do think we've got a beat on this one. And DeSoto County is going to be up next as this storm moves out of Tunica County here in the next 15 minutes or so, and then moves across southern DeSoto County. We'll be watching for a new warning coming out on that. Not seeing any indications from the Weather Service right at the moment that they are ready to pull the trigger on that, but they are certainly mentioning a significant hail signature in this storm. We do have a chaser in the area indicating that he does not see any ground circulation any longer right at this moment. But there's still definitely rotation in the clouds, and we were seeing that on our velocity signatures as well, that there is definitely some spin up at a few thousand feet there. And there's the new warning. And somebody's got their Stormwatch Plus alerts on. Awesome. That's probably Richard.
Yep.
Richard, do you want to handle that warning as it comes out, and I'll talk about it?
Yeah, I can get it.
We're going to put that out on social media now.
Yeah, so that is out until 8:15, and it's pretty much all of DeSoto County.
Yes, we do have all of DeSoto County. And for those that were asking about Memphis, this warning that goes until 8:15 for a confirmed tornado does include far southeastern Memphis, the Capelville area. And it does include a little bit of the Germantown area right up to Poplar. So that is kind of on the far northern tip of this warning. Right now, it appears that this storm will probably stay in DeSoto County, but Germantown, you're not too far from that. Those areas that are... hey, Richard, can I get you to mute for a minute?
Yes.
Yeah, thanks. So those areas that are in Germantown... could also include a little bit of Collierville in that, and it does include a part of the city of Memphis. So we will be hearing tornado sirens going off in Germantown, potentially Collierville, and also for the city of Memphis. But the city of Memphis sounds for the entire city, even when a portion of the city is included. So everyone that is watching this inside the I-240 loop, in the Whitehaven area, southwest Memphis, Cordova, all of those areas downtown, you guys are not in the warning. This warning only includes Capelville, so that would be Highway 78 east of the airport from Oak Haven down to the DeSoto County line, and then over into southeast Memphis, Hickory Ridge, and then out towards Windike. So those areas along Winchester, the 385, areas from 385, about at the Ridgeway exit, all the way out to Collierville. You are in this warning, but you are not under immediate threat. Please be prepared. We will continue talking about this as the storm moves that way. But let's go back and zoom in again as the storm gets ready to move into DeSoto County from Tunica County here in the next 10 minutes or so. The storm right now is southeast of Robinsonville. It's going to be south just barely of Banks. You folks in those areas need to be in your tornado safe place. There has been a confirmed tornado on the ground with this storm, Do not know right now if there is something on the ground at this moment, but it does not matter. We definitely have a rotating storm, and it could drop a tornado at any point. This storm does now have Hernando in its path. It does look like areas around Hernando will be probably about 20 minutes out, 15 minutes out from this storm. Hernando, you need to be in your safe place. Nesbit, Horn Lake, and right up to South Haven. All of you along the I-55 corridor from the state line down to Coldwater, you need to find your tornado safe place and be in it. Continue to follow us on YouTube. That's great. Whoever else you might be following, local TV stations or whatever, please continue to get your information from whatever source you have, but you guys need to be headed towards your safe place. And this warning also does include Olive Branch. So I know a lot of our followers down there in Olive Branch. This tornado warning does include you. This is a good 30 minutes from Olive Branch, but you could start to feel the wind picking up, getting the rain, and could start to get some hail from this storm as well before very long. So I recommend that you are also prepared and ready to move into that safe place, if not now, in the very, very near term. I will make one more mention for those who are tuning in and watching from Shelby County. Tornado sirens are likely going off in Germantown, Collierville, and the city of Memphis. For Memphis proper, this affects only southeast Memphis, Capelville, Hickory Hill areas out towards Windike. It does not affect the rest of Memphis. This also affects Germantown on the far northern portion of this warning. There is not an immediate threat in Germantown, but you need to be keeping a close eye on this. And if you feel safer in your safe place, you need to be there. And finally, for Collierville, this is outside of the warning for the most part right now. The far western side of Collierville, west of Carriage Crossing, and the Ridgeway Country Club. It's basically right there on the Germantown-Collierville border, is as far as this warning extends right now, and the warning goes out until 8:15, so we've got another 35 minutes on that. You guys out there in Collierville right now, I would say, are safe for the moment. We're going to keep an eye on this storm very closely, though, as it continues to move that way.
I'm going to switch here and look at the overall picture so we can see that storm moving through northern Tunica County as it moves to the northeast. The storm actually now a little further to the east now, headed towards the Highway 301 corridor and the 269 area, just west of Hernando. You can see those tornado warnings on the upper right-hand side. That one tornado warning that extends into Olive Branch and southern Shelby County is in effect until 8:15. The other warning that is just to the west, that is in effect until 8 p.m. And again, we have a confirmed tornado just to the northeast of Tunica, moving to the northeast, and along with this, we're going to see some small hail and damaging winds with this storm as it moves through. Previously said it was going to go through the Coldwater bottom. It looks now like it is actually going to go through the Highway 301 and 304 corridors, so just south of Banks. You can see that right here. It is going to go south of the Banks area, and this is Highway 304. 269 is actually not on this map, but that is going to move to the northeast rather, and it is right now the main area of circulation is just to the south of Banks, and that is going to again move to the northeast. Probably keep an eye out in Hernando as well as Nesbit, but if you're west of 51 and around the Highway 301 corridor, 304, that area, you need to be in your shelter now. These storms are headed your way, and you need to be in your safe place now. These storms will move over your area here in the next little bit. And these storms, again, are moving to the northeast at 50 miles per hour, so you can't outrun these storms as they move through the area. Again, the main area of circulation right now is just to the south of Banks in Tunica County, and that is moving to the northeast at around 50 miles an hour. Again, Highway 301, Highway 304 intersection there is under the gun, and it's going to head to the northeast towards the Nesbit and Hernando area. And Nesbit, Hernando, much of DeSoto County, including South Haven, Olive Branch, Nesbit, Horn Lake, Cockrum, Lewisburg, all in a tornado warning in effect until 8:15 tonight. And again, here's the wide view. You can see that cell moving out of Mariana, or rather Lee County, Arkansas, moving into Tunica County, and now moving into DeSoto County. They should stay north of the Tate County line, and it will move through southern DeSoto County and will cross Highway 55 and 51 around Hernando and continue off to the northeast. Looks like it could affect the Olive Branch and Lewisburg area in the next little bit. But we do have a tornado warning in effect for much of DeSoto County until 8:15, as well as southern Shelby County. You can see Germantown just in that warning, Capelville, those areas. But the warning that is off to the west is until 8 p.m., is in effect until 8 p.m. This warning that is further east covers much of DeSoto County, and southern Shelby County is in effect until 8:15.
All right, and I'm going to take it from here for a minute. Let's see if I can.
It looks like we got word that 55 and 69 interchange is about 15 minutes out, and they are working to get traffic stopped at the 55-69 interchange. So they're expecting that to move through that area.
Richard, you got me?
I do.
Okay, I'm going to put this up. So This is some video I've gotten from right around, I believe this is Highway 61 down in Tunica County just a little bit ago. And I'll run this through. So this is actually from one of my team members that's out chasing, and they're watching what appears to be the tornado just to the west of 61. I think this is, I'm pretty sure knowing where they were, this is on the south side of the storm, looking north back towards Memphis from Tunica County, basically, with the tornado between them, crossing the road, and you can see all the dust and stuff that is picked up as that moves across those open fields out there, and is crossing 61 there as we look through that. So pretty interesting case there. Really good visual. Let's see if I can stop that and switch. Yeah,
just want to let you know that the warning has been updated. It still continues until 8:15. And they're saying the tornado was located over Eudora, or 10 miles west of Hernando, moving northeast at 50 miles per hour. They're still has a considerable damage tag on the actual warning, as well as 1.5-inch hail. So that is the latest update.
Yeah, and that just that was a continuation of the warning.
That's correct.
Yes. I was just reading over some of the last comments on the storm from the Weather Service, indicating that it likely was cycling there in Tunica County, which basically means, these storms aren't steady state. They don't put down a tornado and it just stays down forever. The storms have kind of a life cycle to them where they mature and then they weaken a little bit and then they may mature again. And basically, looks like that the storm is cycling, which means it may not have a tornado on the ground at the moment, but cycling means it certainly could put another tornado back down. And so we're going to continue to watch that storm. They are going with the radar indicated designation on this storm right now. They don't have ground truth at the moment that it is on the ground, but we are still seeing that rotational signature in the storm. It is now east of 61 by a ways. It's actually east of State Route 3 as well, crossing over into far southwestern DeSoto County. So for those of you in Tunica County, the vast majority of you are now clear of this particular storm. The threat is crossing into the DeSoto County line. In fact, that last update now basically does put it just across the DeSoto County line. So tornado warning remains in place for Tunica County right now, but that storm has moved just across DeSoto County. I expect to see that initial tornado warning will probably be canceled here. It goes until 8 o'clock. So if they don't cancel, it's another 12 minutes, but your threat has basically diminished. It looks like we got strong wind gusts on the Tunica Airport observational system from about 7:35, gusts to 39 miles per hour out of the southwest, which is the direction the winds will be blowing around the backside of that storm as it moves away. So,
And seeing a few comments on chat asking about safe places. Safe place, obviously, the best place is going to be a storm shelter. If you don't have a storm shelter, the lowest floor of your house in an interior room away from windows and doors is the next best place. Basement, if you have one, would be also good. Mobile homes, no good. But if you don't have anything else, it's better than nothing. But really, the lowest level of the floor of your house, an interior room away from windows and doors. You can get in a bathroom away from windows, put a mattress over the top of you, a helmet if you need one. You can certainly do that. But as low as you can get in your house, away from windows and doors, storm shelter would be ideal. But if you don't have access to a storm shelter, lowest floor of your house, away from windows and doors, in an interior room, and protect it as well as you can. Twin size mattress fits great over a bathtub.
very good tips. Excellent. All right. So, do we have Kayla on with us right now?
Yes, I'm here.
Hey, how about if we pass it over to you for a minute? You want to? You're pretty familiar with this area. You want to talk about what's going on in DeSoto County and some of that video? We took a look at the video, I think, while you stepped away. So was that from 61 looking north towards Tunica?
Yes, it was.
Okay, cool. So yeah, we're just watching as that storm has now moved out of Tunica County and headed across DeSoto County.
Yes, so the chasers that are on that storm actually have a new video of a wall cloud. So the tornado's currently not down, but the storm is definitely rotating where they're at. And they are just, looks like they are going north, and they are just north, looks like northeast of North Tunica.
Gotcha. Okay, so they're probably still over on 61, kind of on the backside of it then,
Yes.
and being able to see the storm from the backside and not be in front of it, which is not the right place to be.
Preferably not.
Yes. Okay. Great. Good. Yeah, it was a good video. Excellent video coming out of there. I wanted to switch this over again to take a look at the hail signature. That's become a little messier. Not nearly as coalesced into kind of a tight ball like it was before. Hail signature down to about an inch versus 2 inches earlier. It looks like it's it appears to me that this storm is kind of cycling down a little bit. It's still obviously a very strong storm, still is rotating aloft. But some of the signatures we would look for, particularly for a very strong tornado on the ground, do not seem to be there right at the moment. So we're hopeful that will hold. Certainly, just about everybody in DeSoto County right now is getting very heavy rain, probably some hail, especially on the west side of 55, west of Hernando, over like 304, headed west out of Hernando, down to Coldwater. Northwest of Coldwater there. So those are areas still getting some hail. But this storm is going to continue to move to the northeast. I'm still pretty fairly confident in the fact that the most dangerous part of this storm is likely to miss most of Shelby County. Now, as this continues to move to the east northeast, it could very well clip the southeastern part of Shelby County, say near Collierville, the Piperton area, and go kind of near Byhalia. We'll want to keep an eye on that. But for the vast majority of the city of Memphis, there is no immediate threat, even though the tornado sirens are sounding. Germantown, probably even a better situation than southeast Memphis. Up there, you're kind of on the very northern corner of this tornado warning. So that is why your sirens are sounding. Just something to keep in mind. The storm is passing by to your south, and we want to still be aware of it for sure as it's moving through. Let's take a look back. I'm going to zoom out a little bit because we do have that storm there, but we do have some further development going on back to the west. Richard, let's see what's going on back over there if we could.
Okay. Do you want your radar, or do you want me to zoom out even further?
You're welcome to take yours.
Okay. Let me go back a little further. So we'll use this one. All right, so we do have a continuation of the tornado warning. Looks like they upgrading to considerable damage. They also canceled the warning for Tate and Tunica County and continues for DeSoto and southern Shelby County. And it is 7 miles west of Hernando.
So that might be a little confusing right there with those two different warnings. So the main warning for the storm itself in DeSoto County did cut out Tunica and Tate counties. The original warning for Tunica County actually is still in effect until 8 o'clock, but I can tell you that storm has moved out of Tunica County. You guys are all clear on the backside of that storm.
Yeah, so we can look at, on this view here, we can see the storms that are moving through DeSoto County and additional storms that are firing up just west of Forest City down to Pine Bluff. Those storms are starting to build up a little bit. We'll keep an eye on those and see how those progress through the evening. And the only tornado warning right now that we have is for DeSoto and southern Shelby County until 8:15. And the other warning will expire at 8 p.m. We'll look at GR3 a little closer to the storm. So we're looking just west of Hernando. So here is Hernando and Nesbitt. So you can see a little bit of.
And it looks like there might be two circulations in there now.
Right. So this is circulation. This is right along Highway 304. This is going to be 301. So it's going to be east of 301. So it's going to be between 51 and 301, moving to the northeast and just north of 304. It will be moving over the 269 area highway just in the next little bit. It's not actually pictured on this map, but it will be moving over the 269 area west of 55 over the next few minutes. So if you're on 69 west of 55, so if you're like headed towards Tunica on 269, just be aware that possible rotation will move over you in the next little bit.
And it appears there's another circulation forming also southwest of Hernando, almost on I-55, just west of I-55, south of Hernando.
Is that it here?
No, farther south of Hernando.
Okay, so this
one. The radar's not picking up quite as well. I'm seeing it pretty well in NQA.
Okay.
Why don't I pull this up for just a minute?
Yep.
While you're getting that.
Go ahead.
All right, yeah. So here's what we've got. Seeing kind of two rotational signatures. One is the one Richard was talking about, west-southwest of Nesbitt, south of 269, moving across 269 into towards the Nesbitt area. The other one is broader. It is a larger circulation, not as tight though. It is just south of Hernando. Not really seeing anything, real classic looking on the reflectivity signature in there, but there is definitely some upper level rotation going on in that area, and it was also mentioned by the Weather Service as well that they're keeping an eye on the potential for maybe that to kind of start to hook right in that area south of Hernando. So we'll keep an eye on both of those. Both of them are in the tornado warning, though.
Looks like they've reported damage on Arcabutla Dam Road in Tunica County, so just north of Tunica.
Yes.
They didn't say what type of damage, but damage has been reported there.
Okay.
And I still hear the sirens going off here in South Haven.
There's the Yeah, so that's that little area southwest of Nesbitt right there has got a pretty tight little signature on it. It's small, but it's definitely in that kind of circular looking hook on the backside of this storm. And let's see if that's going. Can kind of track it through here and see. There we go.
Yeah, it should be.
Yeah, you can kind of see it moving there.
Should be pretty close to 269 by now.
Yes, that should be just about crossing over it. And so that is headed basically right towards Nesbitt. If it tracks a little bit further north, we're going to be wanting to keep a close eye on Lander Center area in southern South Haven. So we're going to watch that pretty close. And then a little bit of a kind of goofy signature down here in the Hernando area. It looks like mostly just a wind wind and heavy rain threat down in there. But there's definitely some sort of rotational signature there that is headed towards Nesbit.
So we did get a comment on chat about the status of Nesbit Pleasant Hill, and that's what we were just talking about, was the fact that there could be some rotation headed towards Nesbit in the next 5 to 10 minutes. So if you're in the Nesbit Pleasant Hill area, make sure that you are in your safe place. Again, interior room, lowest level of your house, an interior room away from windows and doors. Be aware that there is a tornado warning in effect until 8:15, and it's currently 7:59. So still a little ways to go with this warning. If you're in the Olive Branch area, be aware that you are under a tornado warning as well. The tornado warning, or the tornado itself, is located west of 55, and it is moving to the northeast at around 50 miles per hour. So it will move through the Nesbit Pleasant Hill area and eventually into Olive Branch if it continues its current track.
Yeah, and that velocity signature is not really weakening in there either. It's not super strong, but there is definitely a signature there of strong inbound velocities for sure that are, it's showing 55, 60 mile an hour winds, and that's only 100 feet off the ground because it's very close to the radar we're using. So there's a Doppler radar that's right there in Nesbit. It's at the old way station, I-55 way station in Nesbit. And that golf ball looking thing you see if you're driving down 55 on the west side of the road is the Doppler radar that we're using right now. So that's what we're seeing.
And there is some broad rotation that is a little bit further south. Is actually on the east side of Hernando, on the east side of 55 now, according to the NQA radar. Looks like there's some broad rotation just east of 55, east of Hernando, and it's moving to the northeast. So if you're in the Lewisburg area, be aware that that's moving through. Not reporting any tornadoes with that, but just a broad area of rotation that could become a tornado at any time. But radar looks kind of messy right there, so I'm not too convinced.
I'd like to back out for a minute here because there are some additional storms that are moving closer to the northern part of our area. I'm going to watch this loop through for a minute. So these are moving northeast and going to be grazing right along the river, probably going to western Tipton County over the next little bit. There is some rotation northwestern St. Francis County. That would be one of these storms back here. So we're going to keep an eye on these. This just because we've got this one big storm over DeSoto County doesn't mean we're necessarily done for the night. We still have to get this front through here. It is going to take probably another couple of hours for that to occur. So any of this activity back to the south and west of us, we're still going to need to keep an eye on as it moves northeast and potentially brings us some stronger storms. So what time is Memphis going to be clear? We are expecting that to be probably by 10 o'clock. Probably no later than 10 o'clock. I might be able to, I don't know if I can, I'm not screen sharing my entire screen. I'm screen sharing GR3. So let me.
I'm going to switch to mine real quick if you don't mind.
Okay, I was going to pull up Yeah.
No, you go ahead and pull that up. I'll show the wide map here. Shows the watches and warnings. You can see the entire metro is yellow, indicating we're under a tornado watch until 8 p.m. We're actually still under the tornado watch. I've not seen any communication about that. But the red box, that is the tornado warning, in effect until 8:15. It's currently 8:02, and you can see those cells just to the north and the west of Forest City, a few cells over Stuttgart, and then some just south of Pine Bluff. Those are moving to the northeast. As of right now, we do have one warning and one warning only in the metro, and that is for DeSoto County and southern Shelby County, and that is in effect until 8:15. Again, current time is 8:03 p.m., so we are still on this warning for a little while longer. You can see closer view, we could see the storm moving out of Tunica County and moving into DeSoto. Take a closer look at that one. See, the heavier rain is over the Landers Center, over Church Road area. That is some heavy rain there, but I don't see any signs of rotation with that. We do have a little bit of rotation off to the southeast of Nesbitt, but there is not a lot of indication that that's tornadic in nature. It looks pretty broad. So that broad area of rotation just off to our southeast of Nesbitt looks like it's going to move into the Olive Branch area and eventually northeast into possibly the Collierville area. If you're in Collierville, be prepared for gusty winds, heavy rain, and some lightning with these storms. The tornadic potential kind of looks like it's gone down just a little bit, but we are still watching this, obviously.
So the tornado watch that was in effect till 8 o'clock for the metro, we missed this. It was extended until 10 p.m. when they issued the new watch to our east that goes till 1 a.m. They also extended the watch for the metro until 10 p.m. And so that means we've got a couple hours left on that, and that's kind of about what we were expecting might happen anyway. I just missed it. So
that's for the entire metro? Tornado watch?
Yes. For the entire metro, it is extended until 10 o'clock.
Okay, so we had, that's a continuation of the current warning for DeSoto until 8:15 and southern Shelby. So DeSoto and Shelby County till 8:15.
Okay. So to answer a little bit clearer the question about what's coming up for the next couple of hours, I am going here with the model data that we use to check this sort of thing. And this is the latest version of the HRRR model. I showed this on the video we did late this afternoon, about 4 o'clock. And so this is its representation of what the radar should look like at 8 o'clock. Now we can tell, obviously, it doesn't have the placement of the storms exactly right. That big storm is actually down in DeSoto County, not in Shelby County. But for model data, it does show that there's activity ahead of the front. And it does, over the next hour, tend to intensify some of this convection right ahead of the front as it moves into the area. This is the 10 o'clock frame, and you can see basically right on the back side of it, and by 11 we should be out. So we're still expecting probably around 10 o'clock, and again, in the first couple of hours of a model, sometimes it doesn't do a superior job at reflecting that. But I think we're about on track. I don't expect a significant development of those storms to our west, but they are stronger than they were, and more of them than there were an hour ago. So this front is starting to, or at least the trough, prefrontal trough, is pushing these storms a little bit closer to the back edge. I would anticipate in about 2 hours, most of this will be clear. So let's take a look at. I was going to see if there was any other comments or questions that might come in.
So we do have a new tornado warning just issued. I will get that once it comes out. But it is going to be for Benton, DeSoto, Marshall, Fayette, Hardeman, and Shelby County until 8:45. The text does say the tornado was located over Lewisburg or near Olive Branch, moving northeast at 60 miles per hour. Again, a tornado warning in effect for Benton, DeSoto, Marshall, Fayette, Hardeman, and Shelby County until 8:45.
All right, so excuse me. So the new tornado warning is depicted here in the red box. So they have not put the observe tag on this tornado warning. So this is a radar indicated storm. Let me just double check that. Yeah, radar indicated storm, max hail size up to as high as 1 3/4 inches, golf ball size. And that rotation is occurring basically straight south of Olive Branch. If you go down 305 from Olive Branch down to the Lewisburg area, it's right in that area. If you are in Olive Branch, you are in this warning. And if you are down towards Lewisburg, Cockram, Miller, Byhalia. These are the areas that are in the immediate vicinity of this rotating storm. You guys need to all be in your safe place. Take your tornado precautions and be in your safe shelter for the far eastern portions of of DeSoto County. This does also include far southeastern Germantown. It does include the city of Collierville under the tornado warning. Again, the rotation of this storm looks to be passing to the south of Collierville, but there is still a good part of that storm that's going to be moving across the state line east of Capelville. It's down basically covering 385 from the Germantown area out to Collierville now, and 72 going into Marshall County. So Collierville, you need to also be in your safe place right now, and just be aware that the core of this storm, the most concerning part of the storm, likely will pass to the south, but you are in the tornado warning and you need to be in your safe place. This will continue up towards Rossville and Moscow on 57, and also across northern Marshall County, the Sladen area on Highway 72. So those areas need to be prepared for this as well. You are now in the tornado warning, and that includes 57 all the way out to Moscow, LaGrange, Grand Junction, and going up State Route 76 up to Somerville as well. So all of those areas are now under tornado warning until 8:45. And right now, this is a radar indicated storm, radar indicated rotation. It is not confirmed on the ground. The location for that fairly significant rotation that is taking place, don't know if it's on the ground, is very near Lewisburg High School. So we're looking at where 305 meets 269, and right down by Byhalia Road, right in the conjunction of those locations. It'll be just south of Methodist Olive Branch as it crosses 72 here in the next probably 5 minutes. Methodist, you are also under this warning. Olive Branch, you are under this warning. You need to be taking your tornado precautions right now as this storm continues to move off to the east-northeast. It did cycle out, and now it looks like it is producing fairly strong rotation, mostly aloft, but that means it could drop a tornado at any point. Dorian, we have you on the feed here still?
Yes.
Yeah, do you want to take it for a minute and talk about this storm that's going up over towards northwest Marshall County?
Sure. So we are seeing, of course, that area of moving into Byhalia and Olive Branch. Kind of following the 269, I-269 corridor. So if you're in areas, definitely make sure that you're in your safe place at this time. In addition to the tornado threat, we are also continuing the threat for hail with this storm. Currently, the warning is out for golf ball size hail. We're seeing a lot of reports near Orange Lake, South Haven, and Olive Branch with pea size and quarter size hail. And so we are continuing to watch that in conjunction with the area of tornadic activity. It's also continuing into Selby County, into cities like Collierville, Rossville, that area for hail and heavy rainfall as well. So could be a little bit of ponding on the road. Make sure, preferably, you're not on the road at this time and that you're taking precautions. You're pulling over. If you're in a shelter already, that is the correct place to be.
Excellent, thanks. Yeah, so as this storm continues to move off to the northeast, it's basically kind of in the where 269 takes the big turn from going along the Shelby Fayette line down to head to the west towards Tunica. So just inside that area, south of Olive Branch, inside the 269 loop, now east of Highway 305. Very close to Miller, which that's just south of Miller, which is where Methodist Olive Branch is. So actually, one of the stronger hail signatures right now is right over Methodist Olive Branch. A lot of you in that area know exactly where that is. South of the Olive Branch Airport and the town of Olive Branch. So that is where the kind of the core of the storm is, and the rotational signature is going to be on the south side of that storm, as is typical for these type of supercell storms. You'll see the heavy rain and the hail on the north side of the storm, and the rotation and any potential tornado usually is coming out of the southwest side of the storm if it's moving to the east or northeast, and that's kind of what we're seeing there. I'm going to take this up a little bit higher and see what we're seeing as far as rotation aloft. So I'm looking a little bit higher in the storm now at the wind signatures. This is up closer to about 7,500 feet. Or a mile and a half or so up, and there's definitely some rotation there. So we got some stronger inbound or wind that is blowing towards the radar, which is up in Millington. So that is blowing that direction to the north, and we do have some wind blowing to the south on the west side of that. So that tells us that this wind is in a circulation pattern. Basically, it's counterclockwise circulation, which is the mesocyclone of the storm, and then that would be a precursor to having any sort of tornadic activity on the ground. And so if we look closer to the ground, it appears to me that this is probably some pretty strong inflow into the storm. There's some stronger winds up to I don't know, this is probably 50 miles an hour or so, blowing to the north at the ground, closer to the ground levels. And then the winds aloft are blowing out or to the south. So this is a convergent signature. This is probably more like a gust front or a rear flank downdraft on that particular storm. So that is in the area where the rotation would occur. And right now, really not seeing much in the way of actual circulation pattern at the ground level. So that is a good thing for sure. Still a tornado warning out. You still need to be in your safe place. This storm has crossed over 305 now, so areas from the state line all the way down through Olive Branch and down 305 to Cochrane. This storm is now east of you and moving away, so you should be able to breathe a little bit easier there on the backside of the storm as it continues to move away from you. And just taking one more look back at what's back to our west and northwest. Still have the storms that are now crossing into Crittenden County, back towards Wynn. These storms, I'm going to check and see if there's any sort of a hail signature on those. Maybe a little bit. Some of the stronger cells have a little bit of a hail signature in them, but not anything of real concern. No severe thunderstorm warnings back there. Still under tornado watch until 10 o'clock. And then there's another little storm back down near Stuttgart. Don't have a lot of concern over that one right now either. So this storm that is crossing into far northwestern Marshall County, affecting parts of far southeastern Shelby County, and then moving towards southern Fayette County. This is the storm of concern right now. And it looks like pretty strong winds there at Olive Branch, blowing out of the south. 35 knots, which is putting it about 42 miles an hour out of the south. So pretty gusty winds all across the eastern portion of DeSoto County.
I'm going to zoom out a little bit and take you a little further out view, rather, and see how this storm has evolved. You can see it moving out of Lee County, Arkansas, moving through Tunica County into DeSoto County, and now moving into southeastern Shelby, as well as southern Fayette County and northwestern Marshall County. Again, we have a tornado warning in effect for those areas until 8:45 p.m. That's eastern DeSoto, southeast Shelby, northern Marshall, and southern Fayette County. Again, a tornado warning in effect for those areas until 8:45. Current time is 8:16, so another 29 minutes left to go on that. A little further out view, we can see some cells still over in eastern Arkansas, moving across the river now, about to move into Tipton County. Those storms do not have any warnings on them, thankfully. There is one cell just to the northeast of Stuttgart, and that'll move through Helena and Mariana areas, and possibly northwest Mississippi, and some cells just to the south and southwest of Pine Bluff. Do seem to be getting a little bit stronger with those cells, but the cells that are just west of Memphis and northwest of Memphis seem to be tame right now. Again, no warnings on any of these storms except for the one in DeSoto, Shelby, Fayette, and Marshall County. Zoom back in real quick, and you can see again the track of this storm moving to the northeast. It has kept its act together. There are very few and far between reports of damage, thankfully. Looking now, I don't see any damage reports. Weather Service saying that the circulation west of Lewisburg has been pretty broad over the last couple of scans, which is a good thing. It just means that it's a wind threat and not necessarily a big tornado threat. But again, we do have that tornado warning in effect until 8:45 for those areas. That's going to be eastern DeSoto, southeast Shelby, northern Marshall, and southern Fayette County. That is the only warning going on in the metro right now. Again, we do have the tornado watch in effect until 10 p.m., and that continues for all of the metro. Again, tornado watch until 10 p.m. South Haven is not clear at the moment. We are under a tornado watch. There are a few cells moving through, but we do see that this storm just off to the southeast of South Haven is now moving off. Looks like the part of the storm that did warn, or that prompted the warning for South Haven, is actually moving out, so that is definitely a good thing.
So I'm taking a look again a little closer at that at the storm now, just north of Byhalia, and it is the wind velocities, both the inbound and outbound velocities, do seem to be starting to get their act together a little bit better. We're starting to see this on the reflectivity. It's starting to, I wouldn't call it a hook echo just yet, but it is a protrusion sticking out from the backside of that storm, which lines up fairly well with the broad rotation that's going on in there. We're definitely going to have to monitor this, because that is not too high off the ground, where those strong winds that are blowing in opposite directions are occurring. So it's possible that this storm is starting to kind of pull its act back together, and if it is, then areas of greatest concern are going to be the 72 corridor up in northern Marshall County, so Mount Pleasant, maybe to Sladen, and then headed into southern Fayette County. If you are along the 57 corridor, say from Moscow east, probably, I'm guessing based on the track of that, probably from about Moscow east, you're going to want to pay very close attention to this one as it continues to move to the east-northeast. It'll be in Marshall County here only for another 15 minutes or so, 15 or 20 minutes, far northwestern Marshall County, and then moving into southern Fayette County. We are definitely going to still continue to keep an eye on that. I want to loop this through, because I believe, let's see.
So we got a question about Olive Branch. It looks like it's now east of Olive Branch, so it looks like Olive Branch is mostly in the clear.
Yeah, and in fact, that storm is pretty much out of DeSoto County now. The tornado warning is still in effect, but I expect fairly soon they're going to trim that back and remove DeSoto County, and probably a section of Shelby County there as well. That's pretty much all of Shelby County is pretty much clear from any present danger, any future danger from this particular storm. So this rotational signature, the mesocyclone that's going on here, as I watch that loop through, is definitely gaining a little bit of strength. So this it's quite possible this could start to wrap up a little bit tighter as it starts to approach the 72 corridor up there around Mount Pleasant. Mount Pleasant, you need to be in your tornado safe shelter area. If you've got a storm shelter, you need to be getting into that. Otherwise, get in the lowest floor interior room in your home. If you do not have if you're in a mobile home or some other structure that is not optimal, your time is about running out to be able to leave that. But if you've got somebody nearby that you can get to quick, you might want to consider doing that. The manufactured housing is not the best place to be when these types of radar signatures are coming towards you. So find your safe place up here along the 72 corridor. And there is the update to the tornado warning. DeSoto County was removed from the tornado warning. You are all clear in DeSoto County. If I've got Kayla or Dorian hearing me on that one, let's get an update out on that tornado warning to remove DeSoto County, and also all of Shelby County except for Collierville. So Collierville, you remain under this warning until 8:45. DeSoto County, you are all clear. Northern Marshall County, of course, is where the biggest concern is right now. and southern Fayette County is downstream where the storm is headed, particularly on the southern part of Fayette County, east of Moscow.
Weather Service saying that there could be a golf ball size hail or 1.75-1 3/4 inch hail with this cell.
Yeah, that hail signature is definitely spiked up right there where, was it 305 meets 269? No, not 305. Goodman Road,
Yeah, 302.
302, and 269, right in that junction. Got a large hail signature in there.
Let me update this crawl here.
Yep. So I think we're going to pause just for a moment here as the storm. We're going to watch it for a few more minutes. I'm going to take a quick 60-second timeout. We'll be right back with you in just a few minutes. All right, so we've had a couple of new questions come in as this storm continues to gain a little bit of strength over far northwestern Marshall County. We've got a question about the Williston area, and Williston is south of Somerville on 76, central Fayette County. You are likely to get some strong wind gusts and heavy rain in that area, but the core of this storm should be passing by to your south. I think the rotation for sure should be to your south. You could get some hail out of this storm potentially, some small hail. But you are on the northern edge of this supercell as it moves through southern Fayette County. So while the warning does include areas all the way up to Somerville, the chief concern right now is going to be where the potential tornado would pass, and that is also where the greatest, about where the largest hail signature is, and that is approaching 72 now in Marshall County, 72 and 311, that interchange west of Sladen, and then moving into southeastern Fayette County. So Williston, you will know there's a storm around, but I don't think that you're in any imminent danger at the moment. We'll continue to watch that, certainly.
It looks like if you're in the Mount Pleasant area, that is the highest area concern right now. Not a huge indication that there's a tornado there, but there definitely could be a strengthening area of rotation around the Mount Pleasant area here in the next little bit. So you are under a tornado warning, so you need to get in your safe place if you're not there already. So the Mount Pleasant, Highway 72 area, even the Sladen area, make sure that you're in your safe place.
So again, to zoom out just a little bit, I've got a couple of questions about when the next storms are coming in. So there are some additional thunderstorms that are moving to the northeast across eastern Arkansas, northeast Arkansas. Another one down west of West Helena. This is down in the Holly Grove area, Marianna. Far western Lee and Phillips County, Lee and Phillips counties. These storms are moving to the northeast, but they will continue to kind of push through the region. I don't know that everybody is going to see storms out of that, but we should be seeing things starting to improve here in the next hour and a half as that prefrontal trough moves through. It's effectively the cold front for tonight's sake, which will bring an end to the severe weather threat. But for right now, I think for most of us, it is either dry or just some garden variety thunderstorms with a little bit of gusty wind and maybe a small hail moving into western Tipton County and then in northern Crittenden County. The main event, though, is going to be this storm that is definitely showing some signs of starting to hook a little bit. Starting to get a little bit better signature out of the reflectivity. And let's take a look at the velocity again. Could be starting to get a little bit of a couplet down here on the south side of this. There's definitely some broad rotation here looking for a definite, kind of green to red, blue to red, maybe starting to get it right on the far southeastern tip of that. So this might be starting to spin up as we're watching it here now. The Weather Service looking at it also and indicating that it does appear to be strengthening a little bit. So we're going to keep an eye on that. Mount Pleasant, as Richard said a minute ago, you need to be in your tornado safe space as this moves over for the next 10 minutes or so, and then you will be all clear as well. But this is passing very close to you. Sladen, same thing. You need to be ready and waiting for this storm to pass from your shelter.
If you're in the area between Mount Pleasant and Rossville, you're just getting some heavy rain. The tornado threat is to the south of you. The tornado threat will be Mount Pleasant to Sladen, those areas. Some heavy rain up towards Rossville and Moscow, Highway 72 area, but those area of concern will be Mount Pleasant and Sladen areas, as Eric just mentioned.
So I know we've got a lot of people that have been watching for quite a while. We certainly appreciate you joining us on here, and hope that this is helpful to you. We aren't always able to, from a manpower perspective, and with social media being the first priority, we aren't always able to do this. But when we are, I think we get some pretty good feedback. So I'll remind you, if you do appreciate the services that we're offering, you're following us on Facebook and Twitter, you have the mobile app, and you're watching here. We don't make anything off of these YouTube streams, but we certainly do appreciate your support in any manner that you're able to provide that. And so one of those ways that you can do that is through our Patreon page. You can find that at patreon.com/MemphisWeather1. It's showing on your screen now. And all of that goes towards offsetting the cost that we've got on a monthly basis. We've got servers running in the background. We've got subscriptions to data. So it is certainly not a free endeavor from our perspective. And any little bit that we get certainly goes towards all that. Richard and I are not taking a cruise this summer on your Patreon donations, so we can promise you that. We're putting it back in and making sure that we're improving the services that we can provide, and hopefully bringing you even better coverage going into the future. So again, if you want to, patreon.com/MemphisWeather1 is our virtual tip jar, and we would appreciate it if you considered that as well. Let's zoom back in here and take a look at this storm as it's going very near Sladen and Mount Pleasant now. You guys definitely have strong winds down there. If there is not a tornado on the ground, you are getting some strong winds for sure. It does appear that this is starting to organize a little bit better. There is kind of a little hook on the bottom side of that. Let's take a quick look over at the CC values, see if I see anything in there. Maybe just a little bit. Let's go 4-panel. And put that rotation right there, about where the hook is. And the rotation kind of lines up with a little bit of a drop in the CC values, so would not be surprised if we had something minor on the ground down in that area right now, and that is moving into Sladen. So crossing 72 between Mount Pleasant and Sladen, it'll be closest to Sladen. You've got another 10 minutes or so to let this pass, and hopefully we'll be able to get this through without any significant issues. But that's what's going on down there. For the rest of the area, again, just reiterate for Shelby County, for those of you listening in Shelby County, cannot rule out the possibility for another severe storm in the immediate Memphis area, but it does look like it should be a little bit calmer. We'll get another thunderstorm or two as that front kind of pushes through over the next couple of hours. But we'll be watching it. You're still under a tornado watch until 10 o'clock, and we'll just cross our fingers that these storms back to the west kind of behave as they're moving through. So I'm going to switch this to look at the hail indications as well. hail core, the strongest hail core now is actually across the state line, between Highway 57 and the state line, north of Mount Pleasant, southeast of Rossville, kind of approaching the Moscow area. I know we've got some friends out in LaGrange, Grand Junction region, and so this is moving in your direction as well. We're going to want to keep a very close eye on this rotation that's down here near Sladen. It is possible that could go that direction.
Hey, Eric, there is reports from storm spotters saying there's been numerous power flashes near Mount Pleasant on Highway 72.
Okay, and so that would be an indication that we do have something on the ground down there. Then that's going to be likely tornadic, and this signature has gotten even more impressive here just in the last couple of scans. I'm going to back this up a couple of times so we can kind of see what it's done. So it was a little bit more of a kind of a smooth curve to the reflectivity, the velocity values there. But as we've gotten along here, we are now seeing a sharper edge where it, with the radar beam catching this from up to the northeast, we're seeing this rotational area, and that is indicated with the little circular indicator right there in the middle of that. So if there are power flashes in that area, we likely do have something on the ground crossing Highway 72 between Mount Pleasant and Sladen, moving to the east-northeast. If you are in southern Fayette County, east of Moscow, you need to be paying very close attention to this. In fact, I'm gonna hand this off just for a minute here, Richard. I want to send out a message or two.
Go ahead. So if we look at a wider view of this, not that wide. So you can see the cell we're talking about has passed by Byhalia and is moving towards Sladen. So if you're in DeSoto County, you're in the clear. If you're in Shelby County, you're in the clear. Tate County's in the clear. Tipton County's in the clear. We're talking about northern Marshall County and southern Fayette County. That is near the Mount Pleasant area right now, moving towards Sladen and eventually towards the Moscow area. So if you're in those areas, just be aware that there is a possible tornado headed your way, and you need to be in your safe place. There is a tornado warning in effect until 8:45, so another 11 minutes or so on this warning. If we zoom out a little bit further, you can see that there are some cells along the river now. There's one cell south of Mariana, and then there's a few cells south of Pine Bluff. There are no warnings on those cells except for the cell far southwest of Pine Bluff. That's good indication, but we do have a tornado watch in effect until 10 p.m. Current time is 8:35, and we are watching a potential tornado moving through the Highway 72 area, moving through Mount Pleasant and into the Sladen area, again towards Moscow. So if you're in those areas, just be aware that that could move through there pretty quickly, as it is moving to the northeast at about 45 to 50 miles per hour, I believe. And you can see the area.
Hey, Richard,
Yeah.
can I cut in real quick?
Yeah, go ahead. Kayla?
So we did just get a confirmation that there is from weather spotters, that there is a large and dangerous tornado on the ground over Sladen. It's moving northeast at 45 miles an hour.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So you heard that? Large and dangerous tornado over Sladen, moving to the northeast at 45. Moving to the east at 45 miles per hour. And so if you're in those areas, Sladen, Michigan City, Grand Junction, south of Moscow, thankfully. That's if you're in the Michigan City area, Grand Junction, those areas, you need to take cover now. There is a large and dangerous tornado headed your way.
All right, let's see. Go back here. Take one more quick view back out. As we come back to that in just a second, I'll take a quick peek up here to the north. Let's go back to two panels here. So we have a special weather statement, basically a strong storms but not too severe limits. These storms that are off to our northwest, I'll briefly take a look at these. They're skirting the western edge of Tipton County, Gilt Edge, right along the river up towards Ripley, and these extend back across northwestern Crittenden County as well. There is what we might call a junior severe thunderstorm warning. It's not quite to severe limits, but probably 40-mile-an-hour winds and small hail. In some of these storms, they are moving to the northeast at a pretty good clip, right kind of along the northwestern edge of our coverage area. And so if you are in Earl, Terrell, up towards the far northwestern part of Tipton County, Gilt Edge. Let's see, yeah, just outside of Drummond's, probably just west of you in Drummond's, just west of you in Covington as well. Those storms, you're probably getting some thunder and lightning and some small hail in those storms as well. So if I got somebody can make sure that they got the special weather statement put out on social media, I'd appreciate it. And then we've got this storm, and let's go back in and take another look at this.
Just had a new
So that
warning
road-
come out for Marshall
yes.
and Fayette County until 9:15.
And so this picks up on the warning that was out until 8:45. So it only had 7 minutes left in it. You folks in Williston and Somerville, the warning does extend for another 7 minutes, but the focus is not up there. You can at this point that warning is effectively canceled for you because this storm is following the path of this new warning, which does include southeastern Fayette County. And then moving out into Hardeman County as well. It also includes the far northern section of Marshall County and moving over into Benton County. Had to put my county names on there. It's outside my area. So Benton, Marshall, Hardeman County, and Fayette County, kind of where all of those come together, is where this tornadic storm is headed. There is confirmation that we have a tornado on the ground in that region. It's going to be just northeast of Sladen. It's crossed 72. Looks like it's going to go west of Michigan City and basically cross right over the trifecta here of Fayette, Benton, and Marshall counties, where all three of those counties come together. The storm is going to pass right over that and head up towards the LaGrange and Grand Junction areas. We're going to want to keep a close beat on where that goes to the east-northeast. Hopefully that stays south of 57 as it's moving northeast, at least up to Grand Junction. I think it is going to eventually cross 57, but it may be pretty close to Grand Junction where it does that. So we'll definitely keep an eye on where that's headed. Seems like the signature may be weakening just a little bit. Looks like the last frame or two, not quite as sharp of a definition, and the hook is starting to weaken just a little bit on the back side of it as well. That may be a good sign. Maybe it's cycling again. We're definitely going to keep an eye on it as it continues to move off to the east-northeast and crosses through far southeastern Fayette County.
There is one lone shower north of Olive Branch and south of Germantown right now. Nothing severe, nothing substantial with it. Just some showers right now. We're looking over northern Crittenden County, starting to see some lightning through the Earl area, right where that tornado went through earlier. That's not a good thing. Yeah, you can see it on the wide view here. Some of the storms starting to fire up just a little bit along the river. There are no warnings for that, but we are monitoring in case we do see some indication these storms may increase. There is also a storm just to the southwest of Marianna, moving to Lee County, Arkansas. We'll keep an eye on. No warnings on it.
Yeah, I was just noticing that storm as well because it's upstream of Memphis.
Right.
We'll have to keep an eye on
There
what
is
it
some
might
lightning. There is some lightning with that storm, so there are indications that it could be strengthening. Like you said, we'll keep an eye on it.
And I'm going to take a minute here to cut.
Oh, looks like he dropped off. All right. And we have a new warning. A new tornado warning just now issued for Tunica County until 9:15. Tornado is located near Palmer or 7 miles northwest of Marvel, moving northeast at 55 miles per hour. So that is that cell that we were just looking at. Let's see if I can get that radar back up. So it's the cell just to the southwest of Mariana. And the one I said that had some lightning on it and it was strengthening just a little bit. And there is now a tornado warning on that, and it does cover portions of Tunica County. We'll wait to see what actually that covers. Okay, so it's going to cover just north of Tunica. So it's you can see it right there. It's going to cover the northern and northwestern portion of Tunica County for this cell here, just to the southwest of Mariana. That is roughly, get my bearings here, that is about 60 miles to the southwest of us, and it is moving to the northeast at 55 miles per hour. So we do have a new tornado warning for western Tunica County. You can see here it includes the area of Hollywood. It does not include Tunica, but it does include Hollywood and areas along the river. So it probably, yes, it will include the casinos areas. So let me zoom in there. Yeah, so it will include the Samstown area. Tunica River Park is just outside of that warning. Gold Strike is just outside of that warning, but the Samstown area and the Hollywood casino areas, those are included in that warning. And that warning continues until 9:15. And let's see if we have Eric again.
Yeah, you got me.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, my computer basically froze up and I've lost all my browser tabs. Had to restart. So back.
So did you hear? Here we have a new tornado warning.
Yep,
Yeah.
I just got that. I'm passing that on to make sure we get that out. And Dorian, if you got me here, go ahead and get the tornado warning posted, please, for far northwestern Tunica County and for coming out of Lee County.
Yeah,
I believe, that's Lee County.
Yep. So it does include Samstown and Hollywood casino areas, but it's just to the southwest of Horseshoe and Gold Strike and the Tunica River Park. Robinsonville is not included, but Hollywood is. And there is some indication that there is some rotation with that. We can see that from the Millington radar. So we're going to continue to watch this. Move back up to the cell here, moving through Grand Junction. So that is now moving through southern Fayette County. It is now north of the state line, so it is all in Tennessee right now. And it is currently moving through the Grand Junction, LaGrange area. Looks like there is some rotation around Michigan City. But it is moving off to the northeast. So Benton County. It will be moving out of Benton County, be moving out of southeast Fayette County here in the next little bit, and moving completely into Hardeman County. And right now it is Michigan City, LaGrange, Grand Junction areas indicated there for tornadic signatures. We do have some broad rotation right now. So we're going to continue to watch this one. So this is a tornado warning in effect until 9:15. I would expect the Weather Service to probably cut Marshall and Fayette County out of this warning in the next little bit. I do have Train Spotter reporting possible tornado 2 miles northwest of Byhalia in Marshall County. So that should pop up on the map here momentarily.
Where was that location again?
2 miles northwest of Byhalia. There
Okay.
it is. There it is on the map. Basically right at the county line along Highway 72.
Yes.
72? 78, excuse me. 78. 72 runs through Mount Pleasant.
So we do have two storms we're monitoring now, and we're also seeing some additional shower and a little bit of light thunderstorm activity across the Collierville Olive Branch areas again. This front is drawing near. We're getting into the last hour or so of thunderstorm activity for tonight, and some of these storms are moving into areas that either haven't been tapped recently or are recovering a little bit from the storms that moved through earlier. One of those is down near Mariana, moving to the northeast, and we will certainly, right now, it only is, the warning only extends radar indicated warning up into northwestern Tunica County, right around the casinos. But it is on a general track that would take it into DeSoto County again, and probably southern Shelby County. So we are definitely going to watch that as that comes in closer, see if that storm spins up or if it just devolves from there. But we're definitely going to watch that as it comes in. We have the other additional storm that is basically starting to looks like it's kind of starting to spin out a little bit. Not quite as strong of a signature as we had earlier for sure. Right around the Grand Junction area and moving out of Fayette County here probably in the next 10 minutes. So those people in the southeastern Fayette County, you've got, again, another 10 minutes or so before that storm moves completely into Hardeman County and is no longer in our area or in southeast Fayette County. And then we continue to have storms that have kind of developed in a line ahead of this pre-front from northern Crittenden County up along the river and Tipton County up towards Ripley. Those are moving to the northeast. So all of this activity moving to the northeast, even though the boundary that is pushing it is coming in from the northwest, and going to be what causes the threat to end for the night here, probably in another hour or so. And the Weather Service agreeing with us on the LaGrange southeast Fayette storm. They have just shortened or clipped that warning back a little bit more. It now only includes the LaGrange, Grand Junction area of far southeast Fayette County. Otherwise, the rest of the county has been cleared from that storm as well. All right.
So I can switch it over to the wide view if you want.
Sure.
So you can see that one cell moving out of Marshall County, moving into Benton, Fayette, and Hardeman County. You can see the cells north of Memphis, Tipton County, and then you can see the one cell that's over just south of Mariana, and then a few more cells to the southwest of Pine Bluff. The warning has not yet populated on the cell that is over Mariana on this radar view, but that is the one with the warning. So where you see Mariana listed on the map, that is where the warning is. You can see the map over here on the right-hand side. It does show the warning, which covers portions of western Tunica County. Zooming in a little closer, you can see the track of that cell as it moved through Tunica County, DeSoto County, and then moving through Marshall and Fayette County, now moving into Hardeman County, Tennessee. The entire area still has a tornado watch in effect until 10 p.m. and we will continue to watch all of these storms as they move through the area. And we can see that if we zoom back into our two storms here, so the storm that is moving out of Fayette County, moving into Hardeman County, Grand Junction area, that's the area of the highest concern right now. We have some winds moving through there. There has been reported of possible tornado near Byhalia, and that would have been from this storm. And you can see over the past few scans, it continues to move into Hardeman County and out of Fayette County. Fayette County still has a tornado warning on it until 9:15, but it looks like it's pretty much out of the entire Fayette County area with the exception of Grand Junction, and that should be about another 5 minutes until that is completely into Hardeman County. You can see some showers moving through the Collierville area. Those are your garden variety thunderstorms. I really don't even see any lightning with that. And there are some storms basically up from Ripley and Halls down to Sumner, or Joyner rather, and Turrell. And those do have some thunderstorms associated with it, but no severe weather. May see some gusty winds with that. And then the one storm that we are watching and going to continue to watch for a little while is going to be the storm just to the south of Mariana. It is, roughly 58 miles to our southwest. And this storm is moving to the northeast, at 55 miles per hour. At 8:42, so about 10 minutes ago, a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located near Palmer, or 7 miles northeast of Marville, moving northeast at 55 miles per hour. Flying debris will be dangerous to those caught without shelter. Mobile homes will be damaged or destroyed. Damage to roofs, windows, and vehicles will occur. Tree damage is likely. Locations impacted include Mariana, Hughes, Rondo, Aubrey, Bricky's, LaGrange, Jeffersonville, Cody, Kokomo, Hillside, Mud Lake, Sudan, Peters, Council, Turkey Scratch, Vineyard, Diamond Woods, Ballpoint, Whitehall, and Cypress Corner. Now, the reason we are covering this is because it does encroach into the MemphisWeather.net area, and it does include western portions of Tunica County. It does include the casino strip, basically Samstown and Hollywood casinos, those areas. The warning does include that area. It is just to the south of the River Park and the other casinos. It does not include Robinsonville, but it does include Hollywood, and it looks like it's going to stay north of the town of Tunica, but there is some pretty decent rotation noted with this. This is pretty far out, and we are looking at about 5,000 feet up in the air at the lowest tilt, so we do have some pretty tall scans here as far as the radar is not reaching the ground at any point, this closest radar around. But this storm is moving to the northeast at about 55 miles per hour, and it will continue to move through the area. And that is the reason we are watching this. So we'll switch back over to an area view. Okay, Eric, are you back with us?
Yeah, I'm here. Yes.
Okay.
You still got me?
I do.
Okay. All right, cool. Thanks. Let's take the big picture again. Yeah, thanks. So, in general, thunderstorm activity continues to increase here over the last 30 minutes or so. As we start to get closer to the end of this event, more of these storms are starting to get warnings once again, so we're not quite out of the woods just yet. And I know that Richard has been speaking already on the storm that's just moved out of Fayette County. So, for all intents and purposes, it appears that Fayette County is effectively cleared out from that warning from a storm perspective. We will likely see that warning itself trimmed back again to remove that. The warning goes until
9:15.
9:15. Okay, thanks. Yeah. So there might be one more trimming of that warning to get Fayette County out of it. There are additional storms that have fired up behind it in the Collierville area, Piperton, and then over kind of east of Eads and far western Fayette County. So those areas will see some pretty heavy rain. I expect there will probably be some small hail in that as well. A little bit of a hail signature there on the that doesn't seem to match up very well. Probably in those storms that are kind of between 72 and 385 there in the Collierville Germantown corridor, eastern Germantown, western Collierville. Maybe some small hail in those. And then we've got the storms up to the north. Just continue to train right through that area. Probably some pretty heavy rainfall that has fallen. That has been going on for a while. 1 hour rainfall rates in half an inch. Seems like it's been going on longer than that. Feels like it anyway. Definitely some heavy rainfall in this corridor where we had the storm move out of from DeSoto County across southern Fayette County as well. And then the new storm that's coming in here through the middle of Lee County, right around Marianna right now. That appears to have a rotational signature on the back side of it. Let's take a look at the velocities there. And there's definitely a mesocyclone going on there. So this storm is rotating. Don't think, unless I've missed something, I don't think we've got any confirmation of anything on the ground in that area. It's kind of in a kind of a rural area south of Marianna, along State Route 1 over there. So not a lot of population in that area to be able to get confirmation from. But
Yeah, it is showing radar indicated in the latest warning.
okay,
So no ground truth yet.
yeah, good. We need to keep it that way.
So
Because
someone asked about
that's headed our way.
right. So that's where I was getting to. Was someone asked about the Walls, Mississippi area?
Yep, and that's right, kind of downstream from that warning. Walls on the southwest side of Memphis, west of Horn Lake. On your way down to Tunica there, if you're coming out of Memphis. And this storm is, in general, going along that path. Now, this is a path that has already taken one good storm tonight. So we certainly don't want to see another one that is damaging go along the same path, but that is kind of in the general track of where that storm is headed right now. So if you are kind of up downstream from that, Robinsonville, Horseshoe Lake, Walls, if you feel like I've said this before, yes, I probably have. This storm is kind of headed in your direction. We're going to want to keep an eye on that. So
Kendall is asking about the track of the storm. That's the one we're talking about.
Yep, exactly. So thanks for that question, Kendall. And that is the storm that is moving to the northeast. Let me just watch this loop through once. There's the previous storm that went through there. And that track does appear to take it towards South Memphis and then across southeastern Shelby County at some point here down the road. So it should stay south of I-40, I think, on its current track as it moves through the metro.
So Corey is asking how long until it moves into Shelby County, basically.
Yep. So we're moving at 55 miles an hour roughly. And so we're talking about 9:30 to 10 o'clock is probably my best guess at this point. We got another 30 minutes or so before it gets through DeSoto County, which is just about to start entering western DeSoto County and Tunica County. So, yeah, let's call it 9:30 to 10 o'clock. And that should be hopefully about when most of this starts to push off to the east of Memphis. And we can start to rest easy tonight. It'll be interesting to see what happens. They did extend the tornado watch for the Memphis Metro until 10 p.m., we will see what happens with that. If there's still a few strong storms around, it is conceivable they could pop another hour onto the end of that, or maybe for parts of the area. Maybe it's just the eastern side of the greater Memphis area where they might need a little bit longer on it. But we'll see. That's a combination of things, just when the storms themselves move out, and also the intensity of the storms. Even if there's some garden variety storms out there and they don't expect that they have the instability to tap into anymore to be able to consider to be severe, then maybe that is a time they would let that watch expire. But we do not know that yet at this point, how they are going to be handling that. We've still got another hour before that decision is made. And I thought I'd take a quick look at I'm just going to take a quick look at the meso analysis on another screen here and just kind of see how we're looking instability-wise. What kind of storm fuel we've got there.
I'll switch over to a wider view.
Yeah.
And so you can see the area radar, basically the regional radar, showing that line of storms north of Paducah, all the way down the river, north of Memphis. You see that one cell around Marianna, and you can see a few more cells around Pine Bluff and down towards north of El Dorado down to Stuttgart, those areas. And that'll be the back edge of this system. So once this line of cells pushes east of us, that should be the back edge of the system, I believe. So we will continue to watch that. Let's see if we can pull up the area radar. A little closer view, you can see those cells between Pine Bluff and Monticello, and then the one cell that is just south of Mariana, and that is the one we're keeping our eye on because there is a tornado warning in effect until 9:15. Till 9:15 for that cell. And all the areas in yellow on the right-hand side show that we have tornado watch until 10 p.m. for all the areas indicated in yellow.
And that tornado warning has officially been canceled for Fayette County as well right now. So as of 9 o'clock, as expected, they trimmed that a little bit more as that storm continues to move through southern Hardeman County. So if you happen to be listening out there, the Bolivar area, this is going to pass just to your south, Hornsby, Bethel Springs, Selmer, those areas along 64, Highway 64 out there are under the threat of that storm. It is outside of our area technically, but thought I'd just give you a glance at it. And we're continuing to watch the storm back to the southwest. I was just reading a couple of notes coming in from the Weather Service here. There are obviously Lee and Tunica counties. Crews are out there working to restore things from the previous storm that went through there. So we're going to continue to keep an eye on that because that tornado warning is moving kind of back into a few of those same areas. Got a little bit of a suspicious looking cell here north of Collierville. This is going to be over the Spring Creek area, southeast of Grays Creek, but Spring Creek right along 269 that runs in and out of Shelby and Fayette County back and forth out there. If you've driven that before, nice wide road to not have too much traffic on, and it can move right around the city pretty well out there. But that's about where we're seeing little bit of broad rotation, maybe more of an outflow boundary maybe on that particular storm. The Weather Service is keeping an eye on that one as well. It's not really very organized, but a little bit stronger storms out there on the far eastern edges of Shelby County and western side of Fayette County. And the rotation continues to be pretty broad on the backside of this storm in Lee County. There's not a whole lot of lower level signature that looks of great significance, but it does have a radar indicated tornado warning on it that continues for until 9:15 for that section of eastern Lee County up into Tunica County. So we'll continue to watch that one and hope that stays, that it behaves itself here as it moves up towards eventually up towards northern DeSoto County and southern Shelby County. So shall we go to the big picture here and just let that run for a minute, Richard? Maybe we can take just a minute for a breather.
Sorry about that. I was on mute. So yeah, I can I can do that. So one thing we're looking at now is the satellite feature. So this is a view from the satellite showing the cells over in western Arkansas down to south central Arkansas. That is the back edge of the storms. You can see there are no storms further west of that. So everything is cleared most of Arkansas with the exception of south central and eastern Arkansas. And that is the back edge of the system. So once those cells move through, we will be good. You can see those cells here on radar. As you can see that one cell over Mariana, another few cells south of Pine Bluff and into Monticello. And if we look at the regional view, you see some of those cells north of El Dorado and continue to move to the northeast. So we are continuing to watch all of this stuff begin to push through. Thankfully, we do have a tornado watch in effect until 10 p.m. It's currently 9:06 p.m. And we're going to take a look at the regional radar here. So we can see that the one cell in Mariana basically taking the same path of that one cell that went through Tunica and Hernando and Byhalia. The cell south of Mariana is taking the same path. So if you're in those areas and you were affected by the storm earlier, there is another storm coming, and it's going to be there pretty quick. There is a tornado warning in effect for Tunica County until 9:15, and we're going to continue to watch this as it moves through. Let's see, till 9:15.
Yeah, so
moving
yeah, Richard,
northeast
look,
at 55.
oh, I'm sorry.
ahead.
So the Weather Service is there saying they're expecting to continue the warning downstream on that Mariana storm. So I can expect that we're going to see the rest of northern Tunica County and into western DeSoto County, possibly into southern Shelby County as well. We'll see where this warning covers, but they are indicating they expect to warn downstream. Heads up to my team to watch for that one coming out. That will probably include, there it is. It includes western DeSoto County, northern Tunica County. It does not include Shelby County.
Yep, and it goes until 9:45. Let's see. Text says a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located 7 miles south of Bricky's, or 8 miles east of Mariana, moving east at 45 miles per hour. A tornado warning in effect until 9:45 for portions of DeSoto, Tunica, Lee, and Crittenden County. So if you're in the DeSoto County area, be ready for some sirens because they are going to be throwing them off here momentarily for, let's see, the western portion of DeSoto County. I'm going to edit our crawl here.
So we've got the two warnings in effect on that storm right now. One of them will cancel out here or will expire in about 5 minutes. But this storm is going to be following the path of the newer warning that does take it across northern Tunica County. It's moving into the Robinsonville area now, and that would include Casino Strip up there on the northern side of Tunica County near the border with southern Crittenden County and northern DeSoto County. So the Horseshoe Lake area is included in this tornado warning, and the far western portions of DeSoto County. So really don't have any, it's just almost up to Walls. There's really no significant communities out there, Newport, Penton. But this is a tornado warning for a radar indicated tornado. So we do not have confirmation of a tornado on the ground. It is a rotating storm, and it is holding together enough that the Weather Service decided to go ahead and issue that warning out a little bit further to 9:45.
And maybe some indications about extending the watch. We'll wait to see what they say, but the Weather Service thinking about doing that. We'll keep you advised as they make the decision there. Most important thing is the tornado warning in effect until 9:45 for western DeSoto, southern Crittenden, and northern Tunica County, and that is, like Eric said, just going to be just to the southwest of Walls.
So I wanted to look at the timing of that watch expiry and the next couple of hours here, what our models think might happen. So this is the forecast valid basically now, which is not too bad. We do have those storms up across Lauderdale into Tipton counties, a couple of storms back moving into the western part of the area. But you notice by 10 o'clock it starts to shift those off to the east. By 11, it still has some stronger storms, but they're all in North Mississippi. This model is indicating that most of southwest Tennessee, portion of the metro, and certainly eastern Arkansas should be clear by 11. But we could still have some ongoing storms across North Mississippi for another hour or so after that. So I would not be completely surprised to see the watch extended maybe for another hour, possibly two. I think the best chance of that happening is going to be in North Mississippi. Maybe Fayette County. They'll probably make that call shortly before 10 o'clock when it's going to expire and see where these storms are, so that they don't have to issue a watch for 20 minutes and then cancel it again for a place where a storm's moving out of. So we'll see where that heads. But like Richard said, it does look like we will see that watch that we've had in effect since I think about 2 o'clock was when it was originally issued, going till 8. It now goes till 10. and we'll see if it gets extended another hour or so. I think the best chance of that again is going to be in North Mississippi. It will be based on the atmosphere that is still overhead and where storms are at the time. So I did take a peek at that as well. The instability that has produced these storms is still there. It is weakening just a little bit as the sun has set. But we are also starting to see, with the sun setting, a little bit of a lid or a cap put on the top of that unstable air, which kind of keeps it from, if you picture your boiling pot of water on the stove, all that boiling water is your unstable, because of the heat that is produced, is your unstable air. But the steam doesn't come out of that if you put the lid on the pot. And so basically what we're seeing here is we've got a boiling pot of water, and there's been no lid on it for a little bit. That lid is starting to slowly start to come down over the top of it, and maybe that will put a cap on some of the, at least the upper end part of the severe weather. It doesn't mean you can't get thunderstorms anymore, but it would keep the storms from necessarily getting as strong. So we'll see how that works out over the next hour or so, and what they do with the watch box. So let's let's go back in and take one more look at this storm that is moving in the general direction of Shelby County. You wanted something there, Richard? Do you have something to chime in with, Richard?
Yeah, it would help if I unmuted my mic. Sorry
Okay,
about that.
there you are. Gotcha.
So there is a report of a tree down on Old Highway 304 or Commerce Street near the Hurricane Creek Bridge. So that is going to be west of Fog Road and east of Highway 301. So if you're in the Arcabutler area on 304, that low area out there on 304 between 301 and Fog Road, there's a tree down on the road, and I'm sure there's more than one down out there. And I can confirm that the sirens are going off here in South Haven again.
If I'm not mistaken, and I remember this correctly, I believe that the DeSoto County sirens are sectored east and west of I-55. Maybe you can confirm that, Richard, but I believe if there's a warning on that's west of I-55, they sound the sirens to the west, and if it's east of I-55, they sound the sirens to the east, and if it's both, they sound them all. I know I was told that at one time. I don't know if that's still the procedure, but maybe you can confirm for us if you're down there, say in the Olive Branch area or east of I-55 a ways. Are your sirens going off down there? You can just comment right on the YouTube stream here. Let us know what you're hearing. But definitely the tornado warning for the west side of I-55, and that's why the sirens are going off there.
Yeah.
If you're in Shelby County and hearing a siren, it's because you must be very close to the border with Mississippi. We should have no sirens going off in Shelby County. There's no warnings in effect right now for Shelby County.
And this person says that it looks like it's taken a similar path to the Tunica tornado. So yes, it is definitely doing that. The storm that went through Mariana and Tunica and through Byhalia and up into Moscow, those areas, it is taking a similar path. So if you were affected by that storm earlier, you're going to be affected by this one that's coming through.
Yeah, if there's any difference there, this is on pretty much the same trajectory. It might be just slightly north of where that last storm was, which I think moved closer to Hernando. And this one looks more like it's going to be going up towards the South Haven area, which would put it a little bit closer to Shelby County as well. So we're going to definitely want to keep an eye on this for the Whitehaven area, South Haven area into Capelville, Hickory Hill. Those areas along the south side of Memphis, this storm could graze those particular regions as well. And it's possible that if a tornado warning continues on that would have to be pushed into southern Shelby County as well. So we will keep an eye out for that. But for right now, Shelby County is not included in that warning. And the storm continues to push off to the east-northeast at 45. The rotational signature on it is fairly weak at this point. It is fairly broad, centered fairly high above the ground. I really don't see a reflectivity signature that would be indicative of some sort of low-level rotation. So that is a good sign. This is a radar indicated tornado. It is not one that is currently, as far as we have heard or can tell from the radar, it is currently not producing a tornado on the ground.
Check in with Dorian or Kayla if y'all got any additional info to pass on.
I'm just looking through the feed that we have, and there's currently photos from Tunica taken at 10:08 of some of the damage that's going on. I can attempt to share this. But essentially, what we saw in Tunica with the damage reports that are coming in, we do see some roofs that have been taken off of some houses, trees that have been taken down, and just a lot of infrastructure that's spread across the road. So even if you're traveling through these areas, first you do want to be careful on the roads for fallen debris. But there is a lot of damage reports starting to come in from the Tunica area.
I've got I pulled that up here. A couple of pictures that have come in from north of Tunica, and I'm assuming these are very likely from the first storm that came through. Yeah, it certainly is not a good situation when you've already had one round of storms move through, and so you might have, like these are showing, some roofs off and some tree damage and probably some roads that are blocked, and then you end up with additional storms on top of that, just water getting into places it wasn't before, and maybe areas, some damage that might have been caused by wind that are loose now, and they get another big gust of wind, and some of that comes down. So really not a good situation where we've had multiple rounds of storms tonight. And then there are some of us who have gotten very little of this. My rain gauge right now here in Bartlett for the day says 0.00. So I am grateful for that. And I know there are those who are not that fortunate and are dealing with these tonight. So that's why we're here. That's why we're doing this. We're making sure that those who are affected by these storms are getting the information that they need to prepare again if another one is coming, and just to be able to know what's going on. So we have been live now for at least a couple of hours as these storms have been moving through.
2 hours.
Yeah, 2 hours. Yeah, I thought we were right about 2 hours. So as we continue to watch these through, pushing the last ones through here, I also want to give a shout out to team members that are on tonight. Kayla down in Starkville, Dorian over in Atlanta. Really appreciate all that they're doing to continue to keep our social media feeds updated. Without them, we would not have this live feed going tonight because we can't do both of those things at the same time. So thank you guys for that. Appreciate all you're doing, and thanks for everything you've done for the last several months that you've been part of our team, and continue to look forward to what's coming in the future. So back to what we've got brewing now. These smaller storms that had formed over Collierville and eastern part of Shelby County and into western Fayette County have actually gotten going pretty good here. Somerville, Williston, you guys are getting pretty good storms moving up through that area. Might be some small hail in there. There are some gusty winds. I don't see anything real suspicious as far as rotation is concerned or anything, but we definitely have some thunder boomers out there that are, if you tried to get a little bit of sleep, they've probably woken you up. So heavy rain for certain in those areas. And I think most of these storms, for the most part, have been spread out enough that flash flooding is not a significant threat. Some areas have gotten heavy rain a couple of times, so just keep that in mind as you're driving this evening, as darkness has descended. Keep an eye on the roads for any ponding that might be occurring in areas that have just received heavy rain from some of these storms, because there definitely is some torrential rain coming out of these storms that are moving through northern Tunica into DeSoto County, southern Crittenden County. You guys have been hit a couple of times, and pretty torrential rain up there in the right dead center in Fayette County as well. So keep an eye out for that.
Let's zoom out here, and we can see the path of the one storm that moved through Tunica and just north of Hernando and into the Sladen and Mount Pleasant area. You can see a similar track of the storm about to move through Robinsonville and northern Tunica County, western DeSoto County. And again, we do have a tornado warning out for it until 9:45, so another 23 minutes on this warning. Let's see if we can.
And the Weather Service is keeping an eye on southern Shelby County for this storm as well, as it is on a track to take it across the Olive Branch area and up towards Germantown and Collierville. Just be prepared for that over in those regions. And one of the good things I'm noticing here, especially with regards to tornado activity, is even though we've got strong upper level winds, the surface winds really have backed around or veered around quite a bit and are kind of coming out of the south-southwest at this point rather than the southeast or the south. So that greatly reduces the spin, the low-level spin in the atmosphere, because the surface winds are more in line with the winds aloft rather than turning with height, say from the southeast at the surface to the southwest aloft. That's more of the tornado environment. So it is moving into an environment that hopefully will keep this storm from spinning up as it gets a little bit closer to Shelby County. Haven't seen any signs of it recently having any more than just broad general rotation aloft.
Well, we do have a spotter report now 4 miles south-southwest of Robinsonville, reporting a tornado to their west-northwest. That was as of 9:23. So spotter report, 4 miles southwest of Robinsonville, looking at a tornado west.
So he's probably looking in this. I don't know which feed we're taking. You got my feed, yeah. This one, general rotation in that area. Again, it looks pretty broad. He's calling it a tornado, but I wonder if it's more of a mesocyclone type of situation. I'm certainly not going to doubt him. I'm not there.
I mean, it is dark, and your eyes can play tricks on you. It's not that difficult to misjudge something like that, because I'm guilty of it in the past.
Well, and given that there is a tornado warning on it, and there is a spotter that is seeing some sort of rotation in that area, I would expect as this storm, unless it just starts to fall apart pretty quickly, as it gets closer to the end of this current warning, we're only about 20 minutes or so from this storm moving into the I-55 corridor, Nesbitt to Horn Lake, South Haven kind of area. Would not doubt if they extend or reissue a new warning off to the east of this one. So we will keep an eye on it. The Weather Service does have the option of using a severe thunderstorm warning and putting a tornado possible tag on it, which just means that they're not convinced enough that there is an actual tornado in the storm, but it does have some amount of rotation that means it could produce a tornado. But they elect to go with the severe thunderstorm warning and just kind of an elevated, hey, keep an eye on this one type of warning. So we'll see. We'll see what happens with that. But once again, for Dorian and Kayla, we'll keep an eye on this one for another warning downstream here before very long.
And those, if it was moving over, the areas that it's moving over now is Casino Strip and towards Robinsonville. So if you're in those areas, there could be a possible tornado over the Casino Strip heading towards the Robinsonville area. So if you're in those areas, take shelter now. It's possible tornado could be on you at the moment, and that is going to be moving to the northeast, again towards just north of the Banks area, right around the DeSoto County line, where 69 meets 61 in those areas. So just be aware that is where it is headed, and could be a possible tornado in that area.
So I'm going to throw this question to Kayla. She's sending me some video and so forth from that general area. So with the chasers that are down there, this is just recently. I'm assuming we're talking about the same area here in the Robinsonville, Tunica area. If Kayla's on with us, maybe. Yeah, she might have stepped aside. That's all right. So I do have a little video I'm watching on the off to the side here, and she's saying that they're seeing a little bit of rotation, but nothing No tornadoes down, just a lot of lightning, and that's kind of what I'm seeing on the videos that are here too. It's just impressive lightning storm coming out of this system, but no sign of, at least from their perspective, no sign of anything down on the ground.
And the
Okay, so I'm sorry. I just got one other message here from the chaser that's down there on that's part of our team. He said they're back down on the Tunica storm, and they do see a funnel. So no confirmation that that's on the ground, but he is seeing a funnel on that. So that would be, and actually that rotation has just weakened in this last scan a little bit. But right just west of Robinsonville, this is very, very close to Tunica River Park, the Casino Strip, Gold Strike, Horseshoe. That area is where this is occurring.
So the Weather Service has updated this warning. They've canceled the warning for Lee County, Arkansas. Continues for DeSoto and Tunica County as well as Crittenden County until 9:45. At 9:25, a confirmed tornado was located over Robinsonville, or 10 miles southeast of Hughes, moving northeast at 60 miles per hour.
Okay. So we'll continue to keep an eye on that. That's probably in this area just north of Robinsonville now.
Yeah. So they are calling that a confirmed tornado.
Hey, Eric.
Yay, Kayla.
Well, we do have confirmation of a funnel cloud.
Okay.
As far as I know, it is just crossing over 61 right now.
Okay. That makes sense. That's about the area we're looking, is kind of right along 61 or just east of that, just north of Robinsonville. So this would be, basically due east of the River Park and Horseshoe Casino down there. So the Weather Service is saying confirmed tornado on that storm from a couple of different reports that they've gotten. I don't see a debris signature on that. I see pretty broad rotation. Let me see if I can see this better from the terminal Doppler.
Weather Service just mentioned broad rotation in Tunica.
And they also said they had a confirmed tornado on the ground. So I'm trying to juxtapose those things.
Yeah.
Let's see.
They are saying
just kind of buried in the. I'm having a hard time seeing any low level rotation on this, just to be perfectly honest. And I might have lost you there, Richard. Not sure.
yeah, I'm still here. I'm
Okay. I think
reading the warning
something.
a little better.
Yeah.
Trying to decide if it's radar indicated or if it's weather spotters confirmed tornado 4 miles west of Robinsonville. So they are going off of that one report that that there was a tornado.
Okay. Yep. So we're going to see this warning goes till 9:45, I believe. So we will see what they do with that over the next 15 minutes or so, and if that gets extended into South Haven, Nesbit, maybe the airport area possibly, and then further beyond that, it'll be up closer to Hickory Hill. I want to take another broad look out, just see kind of what else is going around out here. It looks like maybe behind this, I'm kind of seeing a back edge of this system. We got storms up in northern Tipton County, Covington area, still being getting another round of storms up there. But then, west of this storm that we're watching moving into DeSoto County now, and west of these storms back down over southeast Arkansas, it is clear. So I am very hopeful that once this particular storm moves through the metro and we get maybe whatever pops up out ahead of it shifting east, we should be pretty close to coming to the end of this event. So, and I might be getting my first 100th of an inch for the day here just any minute as this little cell in Bartlett starts to move over. I'd much rather it be a situation where we have just a few cells rather than a big line of storms that is producing a bunch of spinners. So, fortunately, a lot of folks are getting out of this one without too much trouble. Not to leave out, though, those who have had some damage in the area tonight. Certainly have had some of that, and so we certainly wish that had not happened. But I think overall, so far, I'm going to knock on my wood here. We're getting pretty close to the end of this without any real significant issues. So maybe a best possible scenario from the first high risk in 12 years in the Memphis area.
If you're in western DeSoto County, you're starting to see some rain and some thunder, lightning moving in. This is out ahead of the main cell that is now moving into western DeSoto County, just south of Lake Cormorant, and it is going to be moving to the northeast. This area of rotation is really pretty broad. Like you were saying earlier, not a whole lot of indication that there's much rotation going on right now, but the Weather Service we did have a spotter report of a tornado, so we are watching this one closely. But if you're in the western portion of DeSoto County, you are seeing some heavy rains, thunder, some lightning moving in. That is out ahead of this one tornado warning cell for western DeSoto County.
So if you are leaving FedEx Forum right now, it looks like the Grizzlies pulled out the win against the Clippers tonight. And as you're heading out to your car, just note there is this storm to the south, and there's a couple forming just to the north of it. So the downtown area, you're seeing a little light rain now, but there could be a couple of heavy downpours that are going to be moving through that area as the last of these cells kind of moves through. It does look like we kind of have the back edge of this line is moving in. There's a few little cells popping up in the far eastern portion of Arkansas, but I think that's kind of the marks the back edge of this system. The Weather Service does indicate they are going to be extending the watch. They are working on that process now, determining where and when. And as soon as we know what that is, we will let you know. But for right now, the tornado watch continues for the Memphis Metro until 10 p.m., and we will watch for what they do with that to extend it. So
Getting some rain here in South Haven now.
There's the new tornado warning that just came out on that. This is a radar-indicated tornado warning team that does cover DeSoto County and southeastern Shelby County, far northwestern Marshall County, southwestern Fayette County. Radar-indicated tornado warning that goes until 10:15 p.m. So they're watching the storm near Walls, moving northeast at 60 miles an hour, radar indicated rotation. Small hail possible with that as well. And yeah, looks like South Haven is going to get some heavy rain here on the leading edge of this as it gets up to the state line. So this storm extends from South Haven back through Horn Lake, Walls, and Banks, moving to the northeast. So this is going to graze the airport on the northern edge, and also get the Hickory Hill, Capelville area. Olive Branch is in this warning. Nesbitt is in this warning. So if you are in this warning, particularly on the western portions of this in DeSoto County, anywhere in DeSoto County, you need to be taking your tornado safety precautions at this time as this radar indicated rotation continues to move through the area. If you are in southeast Shelby County, areas just mentioned, Hickory Hill, Whitehaven, those areas should be taking their tornado safety precautions as well. Germantown, Collierville, you guys are going to be another 20 to 30 minutes before the storm approaches you. You need to be aware and be ready to move quickly into your safety area as well as the storm starts to approach. We'll continue to monitor it and continue to provide updates on it. And that extends all the way out to Rossville, Collierville, Piperton, a little farther downstream there. So, but definitely are going to want to make sure that everyone in DeSoto County west of I-55 right now is in your tornado safe place. As this storm moves over, it will not last very long. It's moving 60 miles an hour. So 15, 20 minutes, and this storm will be past. But we definitely want to make sure that you are safe in case this storm does drop another tornado in the immediate vicinity.
We are looking at this on radar. I'm looking at it on your radar. Looks a little better as far as the showing the rotation. Yeah.
Right down in there,
Right.
near
So that
walls.
that's going to be just along Highway 69, just east of 61 and west of 301. So if you're north of 304, 69, and east of 61, be aware that there is a tornado warning in effect until 10:15 for your area. And I will take this and zoom out just a little bit here. We can zoom in just a little bit so you can see that cell moving into the South Haven area. It is going to be moving north of Hernando. It is now north of Highway 304 and moving right. The most intense part is headed right over Highway 69 right now, or Interstate 69, and it is going to be moving across Highway 301 just north of 69 here in the next little bit. We're going to switch back to GR3, and I can show you here. So here is 269 here, or 69, and this is Highway 301 and 302, or Goodman Road. So it's going to, the heaviest of this is going to be south of Walls and to the west of 301 right now, and to the east of Highway 61. So if you're between 301 and 61 and to the south of Goodman, 302, but to the north of 69, that's where the area of rotation is indicated. And zooming in a little more, it's going to be just south of Lake Cormorant and just north of Green River Road, north of 69, right there at the interchange where you get off and go down towards Tunica, or you keep going over west towards 61. Right there at that interchange, that looks like to be where the rotation is the strongest right now. And this is going to be west of Highway 301. So here's 301 here, where it takes that jog to the west, and then it moves south over 69. And this road here, this is Star Landing Road. So where you see Lake Cormorant Schools here, that is Star Landing Road. So the area of rotation that we're looking at is just to the south of Lake Cormorant, and it is moving to the northeast. These cells are moving to the northeast at 50 miles per hour. No, that's the other one. Northeast, 60 miles per hour. So these cells are racing fast to the northeast, and you can see these cells right now just to the west of, what road is this? This is Baldwin Road. Yep, so Baldwin Road. Again, this is 269. This is the interchange where it goes south to Tunica. This is Star Landing Road. This is, that is Church Road here. So the area of rotation right now is south of Star Landing and north of 269, or just along 269, just east of the interchange there as you go south towards Tunica. It is going to be west of 301 right now, and we're getting another update. Let's see if we can, looks like this is going to be, area of rotation is now to the north of 69 and just to the south of Star Landing. It's going to be to the west of Baldwin Road and to the east of Highway 61. So south of Lake Cormorant, south of Star Landing, north of 69, in that area. You're going to see some rotation in that area, and it's coming up on the Baldwin Road area, and it's moving into the community of Memphis, if you're familiar with that is. It's going to move over Highway 301. Let's see, in the Star Landing Road and the Austin Road area. Be aware that if you're in those areas, you need to take cover now. Lowest level of your house, in a basement, storm shelter would be great. Lowest levels of your house, interior room, away from doors and windows. If you are west of Highway 51 in DeSoto County, north of 69 and south 302, you are under a tornado warning and you need to get to your safe place now. The storm is moving to the northeast 60 miles per hour, and there is rotation and has had a confirmed tornado on this storm in the past little bit when it was in Tunica, or when it was just north of Tunica. But right now the area of concern is, let's see, this is south of Star Landing and west of Baldwin Road. Let's see, this is Baker Road to the southeast of Wilson Mill Road, to the southeast of Lake Cormorant, and to the north of 69. This is where the heaviest indication of rotation is right now. Let's take a look at some different products here. So it does appear that there is some rotation, some low-level rotation south and southeast of Lake Cormorant schools, and just to the west of 301, where it takes that jog to the west and then back over 69. So if you're in those areas, McGowan Road, Star Landing Road, Baldwin Road, those areas west of 51 and east of 61, north of 69 and south of Star Landing, be aware that you are under a tornado warning, and tornado could occur at any moment if it isn't already. This is going to has crossed Baldwin Road now. Let's see, Fog Road. If you're between Star Landing and Dean Road and west of Fog Road, if you're in those areas, that is where the area of rotation is now. So between Baldwin Road and Fog Road, south of Star Landing, if you're in those areas along Highway 301, be aware that those storms are moving through the area.
So I'll couple of points here to make, as Rich is doing a great job of providing you exactly where these storms are moving and what communities are affected. A couple of notes. One is that the previous warning that included Tunica County, far western DeSoto County, and southern Crittenden County, that did expire or was canceled actually a little bit early. So the only warning that we are concerned with right now is this one that has just Rich has been describing. And the other point, if you weren't with us earlier, regarding sirens in Shelby County, sirens are going off for a large portion of the county. Siren policy varies by jurisdiction, municipality. The city of Memphis sounds all of its sirens for the city of Memphis if any portion of the city of Memphis is under a tornado warning, and a portion of the city of Memphis is under the tornado warning. South Memphis over to Hickory Ridge, Hickory Hill, Windike. So those areas are under the warning. Sirens are going off for the entire city of Memphis. Also, Collierville and Germantown are both under the tornado warning. Sirens are also going off there. If you are hearing sirens out in unincorporated portions of Shelby County, say up in Shelby Forest, Millington, Rosemark, Arlington, the Arlington and Lakeland actually are also under the jurisdiction of Shelby County, you might be hearing the tornado sirens in those areas as well. And those are because a portion of Shelby County is in the warning, and so you're hearing the sirens. So just know that the areas that are actually under the threat and under this tornado warning in effect for these areas is South Memphis, Capelville, Germantown, roughly Poplar Corridor up, I guess it's just about all of Germantown, and all of Collierville. So those areas are under the tornado warning. That is the reason that sirens are sounding there. The only jurisdiction I can think of right now that has its own policy and is not touched by this warning is Bartlett. Bartlett sounds theirs also just when Bartlett is under a warning. We are not here, and so I'm not hearing any sirens outside my house right now, living here in Bartlett. So just something to keep in mind so that you know what you're hearing. I'm seeing quite a few questions about why am I hearing sirens or am I under the warning, because there's some confusion about whether the sirens are going off and you're actually under the warning. So just keep that in mind. And of course, all of DeSoto County, probably sirens going off across the entire county, because a large portion of the county, particularly the northern half, continues under this warning. And so if we take another look here at the
Sorry about that.
radar. Yeah, go ahead. Do you want to pick up?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
So the area of rotation that we're continuing to watch is just now south of Church Road. It's moving just south of Horn Lake High School. It's going to move through the Lander Center area, as well as the Tanger Outlet Mall and the DeSoto campus of Northwest. So if you're in those areas along Church Road, 51, 55 along Church Road, and just to the south of Church Road, all the way down to the Nail Road, Pleasant Hill area. Not Nail Road, Pleasant Hill, Star Landing Road, those areas. There is areas of rotation associated with that, and that is why we have a tornado warning out until 10:15. And we continue to track this along as it moves to the northeast at about 60 miles per hour. Area of rotation now, heaviest area of rotation that we see is now just to the south of Church Road and to the north of Star Landing and right along 51 as it moves to the northeast. So folks in the Church Road area along 51 and 55, be ready. You're under a tornado warning. You need to get to your safe place immediately. And that is going to continue to the northeast. So folks out in Silo Square, Goodman Road, and Getwell areas, Snowden Grove, DeSoto Middle and High School, be aware that there is a possible tornado headed your way, and there is a tornado warning in effect until 10:15 for your area. Be in your safe place when this tornado comes through. This is nothing to play around with. Nighttime tornadoes are scary. This cell continues to the northeast at about 60 miles per hour. So if you hear thunder, just be aware that there is a storm headed your way. And if you're in north central DeSoto County, especially if you're along Church Road, along the 51 area right now is where the area of rotation is indicated. We'll switch over to a closer radar and see if we can get any better indication. So it's just to, according to this radar, the area of rotation isn't as well defined. There is some heavy rain moving through and gusty winds moving through the 55 South Haven area, Highway 55 area there, north of the Lander Center. I'm going to switch it back to Millington. It's radar. Get a better idea. Yeah, so that area of rotation continues to move to the northeast right now, indicated right over the Lander Center and moving to the northeast. Sirens are obviously going off here in DeSoto County for good reason. We have a tornado warning in effect until 10:15, and this continues to the move to the northeast. So again, right now the area of rotation that we're concerned with is over the Lander Center, and it is along Church Road and 55 moving to the northeast. So if you're in the area between Church Road and say Goodman Road or Getwell Road, those areas between Goodman and Church, you are under the area for the strongest rotation with this storm that's moving through. This is going to continue to the northeast and eventually affect Olive Branch area, as well as there's my storm watch alert.
Nice commercial.
Let's see. So that was for...
It's the tornado warning's been continued. A little bit of the backside of it was trimmed off. The Walls area, Memphis, Mississippi, those areas were trimmed from the warning. Otherwise, it's just continued for the same areas.
But it looks like it's slowed down a lot. They had 60 miles an hour on it earlier. Now they're saying moving east at 35 miles per hour. That's quite a significant slowdown.
Yeah.
Capable of producing a tornado located over South Haven, moving east at 35 miles per hour. So right now, areas of heaviest rotation, strongest rotation rather, is just to the west, or rather east of 55 along Church Road, DeSoto Middle and High School, Snowden Grove, Silo Square. Those areas are under the gun to receive the areas of strongest rotation with this storm. We continue to watch this. It's kind of a broad area of rotation right now. It has broadened over the past little bit. It's definitely not as strong as it was when it was over western DeSoto County, but it is continuing to move to the northeast, and a lot of thunder, a lot of lightning with this storm. And sirens are still going off, obviously, so we are looking about 10 minutes from Olive Branch. So if you're in the Olive Branch area, you've got about 10 minutes until this storm gets to you. Tornado warning in effect until 10:15. Current time is 9:52.
The comment on the tornado watch, we had discussed that was probably going to be extended. The tornado watch for all areas east of the Mississippi River has been extended until 1 a.m. So that means Crittenden County, you will expire at 10 p.m. as it was previously scheduled to, but that has been extended, the tornado watch, until 1 a.m. Now, that does not mean that I expect Memphis and Shelby County, DeSoto County, to be getting storms until 1 a.m., but they are going to go past 10, and so they basically took the original watch, extended it a few hours, and I'm sure as things start to clear off from the west, they will cancel early as needed. But just so you know, the tornado watch has been extended, and it will, for right now, go until 1 a.m.
That looks
So
like
there's
for, it doesn't include Crittenden County, but it does include Tennessee and Mississippi counties.
Right.
Okay.
Yes. Gotcha. So we are seeing some of these storms kind of fill in right along and east of the river. Obviously, this is the one we've been talking about as the strongest storm, but we've got a few pretty heavy rainers from the Bartlett area down into the area inside the loop, down through roughly down to about Liberty Park, the U of M area. Good part of the area inside of the 240 loop is getting some pretty heavy rain right now. These storms are moving off to the northeast. No significant severe weather threats with those at this point. We're also seeing additional thunderstorms developing down to the southwest, again down in the Tunica area and points southwest of there, actually extending all the way down into southeastern Arkansas. So from a big picture perspective, this is kind of what it looks like, but you see most of those storms now are basically along and east of the Mississippi River for the most part, with the exception of some of these down in far southeastern Arkansas. But that effective front, the back end of the severe weather threat, is basically lined up down the Mississippi River and then tailing off to the southwest a little bit in Arkansas. So that's what we've got going on right now as far as the bigger picture. And we can take one more look back in here at this storm down in moving into southeastern Shelby County now. So it's still, if there's going to be any rotation on this right now, it is going to be approaching the Olive Branch area. So Olive Branch, we have radar indicated rotation heading in your direction. You should be in your tornado safe space. As far as the rest of the storm into Shelby County, the tornado warning includes Germantown, Collierville, Caprylville, Hickory Hill, basically just south of Memphis International Airport in the Whitehaven area. This area is mostly going to be a heavy rain threat. There could also be some hail in there. Yep, could see some small hail also in those areas where the heaviest rain is occurring. But this could turn into a minor flooding threat, being over the urban areas here as well. So keep that in mind if you're driving towards southeast Memphis or out Poplar into the Germantown, Collierville areas. No immediate threat from a tornado out in that area, but you definitely want to keep a very close eye on this and be in your safe space if that is what makes you the most comfortable. Certainly, that is perfectly acceptable at this point. So that storm is going to continue off to the east-northeast, moving into southern Germantown, Collierville, and then out into southwest Fayette County from there.
Weather Service now saying that the storm is about 3 to 5 minutes from Olive Branch. If you look here on the radar, you can see the areas of strongest rotation right now along Getwell Road, south of Church Road and north of Star Landing Road. That is where the area of strongest rotation is right now, and that is moving off to the northeast. So DeSoto Central, up towards Pleasant Hill, up towards the landfill area up in eastern DeSoto County, and then eventually up into Olive Branch over the next little bit. So the strongest area of rotation now moving there. We've got a new scan here. Just south of Church Road along the Pleasant Hill area, and to the west of Craft Road, and that's going to be to the east of Getwell Road. That is where the area of strongest rotation is right now. And again, that is headed towards Olive Branch. Folks in Olive Branch are hearing the sirens right now, and that is because there is a tornado warning in effect until 10:15, and that will continue to move into the Olive Branch area over the next 3 to 5 minutes, according to the Weather Service. As let's see. Yeah, they're showing that the DeSoto storm is about 3 to 5 minutes from Olive Branch, about 2 to 3 minutes now from Olive Branch. So if you're in the Olive Branch area, be ready, in your safe place, away from windows and doors, lowest level of your house, an interior room. Basement or a storm shelter is great, but if you don't have one of those, lowest level of your house, an interior room without windows and doors. If you want to get into an interior bathroom, into the tub, just pull a mattress over you. Should be good. But there is indication that there is rotation with this storm that is moving into the Olive Branch area, and we're going to continue to watch this. Should be getting another scan here momentarily. Looks like the area's the strongest rotation is going to be around the Cherokee Valley Golf Club, right along Highway 78 and Goodman. So we are going to continue to watch this. It's going to move eventually over the airport area, moving over Olive Branch itself here in the next little bit, and moving through Olive Branch, through the Olive Branch Airport. This scan, a little cluttered. It shows more broad rotation just to the south of Olive Branch. That could be good indication, and we'll continue to watch this. Let's see. Weather Service continues the tornado warning until 10:15. At 9:58, 1 minute ago, a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located over Olive Branch, moving northeast 60 miles per hour. So it is moving to the northeast at 60 miles per hour, so it will be gone here fairly quickly, but there is potential that there could be a tornado moving over Olive Branch at the moment. That is why you are hearing the sirens over there in the Olive Branch.
And that warning was trimmed once again, so areas west of I-55 are all clear now. Updated warning information has come out just in the last minute, and that severe thunderstorm is over Olive Branch, moving to the northeast. So areas west of I-55, you are clear. You can come out of your safe space. It's no imminent threat for you. So this is going to affect Olive Branch and then up into far southern Germantown and the Collierville areas, and then towards Rossville as it continues to move to the northeast at a pretty good clip. So if you are in southeast Shelby County, just upstream from this, Collierville, southern part of Collierville in particular, Carriage Crossing, Mike Rose Complex, and up towards Poplar, Winchester Boulevard, some of those areas. This is around the 385 section that goes around the perimeter of Collierville as well. This storm is probably about 5 to 7 minutes away. Well, the storm is there. The potential rotation and what looks to be some hail and so forth is about 5 to 7 minutes away. So I would recommend southeast Shelby County that you are in your safe space at this point as well. Find that place and just hunker down for a little bit. It will not take long for this to pass. I know it's a significant inconvenience, but it is the steps that we should take to ensure our safety as these storms move through the area. It won't be long, and this will be over for the night. But we need to heed the caution that is provided by the Weather Service as they're watching these storms rotating as they move in your general direction. So areas that are kind of south of Goodman Road there, it looks like this is starting to pull up away from your area. So we're back towards Snowden Grove, DeSoto High School, Pleasant Hill. Some of those areas are now on the backside of this storm as well. You'll eventually be trimmed out of this warning as well, probably If I had to guess, they're going to wait for it to move into Tennessee and then cut out the DeSoto County portion of this. But we'll see how that plays out. It is now 10:01. Crittenden County, you are no longer under a tornado watch. You have been cleared from the watch for tonight. The rest of us are remaining under a watch at this point until 1 a.m. or until canceled earlier. So a tornado watch continues for most of the area except for Crittenden County until 1 a.m. We do have some little bit of stronger storms, some frog stranglers up here along the I-40 corridor heading northeast out towards Wolf Chase, the Highway 70 Summer Avenue area through Bartlett up into Lakeland. Some pretty strong winds, pretty strong rain in that area, heavy rain. Also up in the Arlington, Galloway area. Each of those particular areas could have some small pea-sized hail in there as well. The rain is done here. I did not hear any hail hitting our windows, so that's good. But it didn't take long to pick up 1/10 of an inch, so that's enough for today, considering that we were going to finish the month off with close to 9 inches of rain. It's been a very wet month, a very active couple of weeks. And there's looks like the active weather may continue. Next week looks wet as well, with the potential for another severe weather event. So we'll see how that plays out, but we'll get through this one first. And then you got some pretty heavy rain also falling down along the river from western DeSoto County through western Tunica County. There's some decent storms in that area, nothing severe at this point. And again, around Tunica, some of these areas that just got hit by a couple of strong storms basically are just getting more rain dumped on the situation. It's rubbing salt in the wound for some of you guys. Understand that, but we're getting much closer towards the end of this event. So,
Take a closer look here at this Olive Branch tornado.
yeah.
So again, that tornado warning goes into effect and is in effect until 10:15, and we do have indications that there is broad rotation, some pretty gusty winds just east of Olive Branch now, along and north of Goodman Road, as well as all the way down to the Miller community along Highway 78. There are some strong winds, indications of strong winds in those areas. This is moving to the northeast, so Collierville should be getting some heavy rain, some lightning, gusty winds with this. You are under a tornado warning. The area of rotation that we've been looking at has broadened some, so that is good. Let's go up a little bit and see if we can see anything.
Yeah, so Richard, also included in that now, the Weather Service has just put out a severe thunderstorm warning for much of the area where that tornado warning is currently exists, but also north up to about I-40. So that is going to include Cordova, the Cordova area, Eads, those areas up to and south of I-40, and a good section of Fayette County. Weather Service reports that they had out there at the Agri Center about 50-mile-an-hour winds, and they are now on backup generator power. So that's the effects of that storm that they just put the warning out on.
Well, that's good that they didn't go with the tornado warning upstream of that or downstream of that. So that's good indication that it's weakening. The storm that's over Olive Branches appears to be weakening. The warning that is out for another 10 minutes. So we'll see if they expire that early, but I doubt that. But we are going to continue to watch. Indication for some strong winds with this cell that is now to the northeast of Olive Branch and to the south of Collierville, moving into southern Shelby County and far northwestern Marshall County. See if there's anything. Olive Branch Airport reported winds out of the southwest gusting to 33 knots, which is 38 miles per hour. So that's a healthy gust, but not a severe gust. And that was at 35 after, so we still haven't gotten the 55 after observation yet. Let's see if we can pull that up over here. Yes, that's even less. 21 gust 31 knots, so that is even less than observation we had earlier. Let's see. So here's a zoomed out view of the current storms. You can see the storm moving over DeSoto County and over into southeast Shelby County, and the additional storms firing up along the river. Those storms are not severe, although we do have a tornado watch in effect until 1 a.m. now. The warning has not been canceled yet. The warning for northeastern DeSoto County, southeastern Shelby County, southwestern Fayette County, and northwestern Marshall County continues until 10:15. So another 8 minutes on that warning. So that warning continues, but downstream of that warning, further into Fayette County, looks like they're just going with a severe thunderstorm warning.
And check that. New tornado warning just issued for downstream of Collierville into Williston and Moscow. Brand new tornado warning just issued. It goes until 10:30 p.m. Severe thunderstorm with a radar indicated tornado. Could be producing a tornado located near Collierville, moving east at 55. So this is going to include Collierville, Somerville, Macon, Oakland, Piperton, Rossville, Moscow, Williston, and so forth. So we've got overlapping warnings is what we've got. The tornado warning that includes northeastern DeSoto County and Olive Branch area is set to expire in 7 minutes. Additional tornado warning includes far northern, very far northern part of Marshall County, the Collierville area in Shelby County, and then downstream in southwestern Fayette County, Rossville, Moscow, Williston, those areas all south of Highway 64. So 3 warnings out there now. The new tornado warning goes until
10:30.
10:30. The severe thunderstorm warning also goes until 10:30. So hopefully they're seeing a light at the end of the tunnel, perhaps here after another half hour or so too. And let's see. I need to get the tornado warning out here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that.
Okay.
Richard, if
Well,
you're
I can get it if you want.
Okay. All right.
Yep.
Yeah. I'll let you get the warning. Yeah. So let's zoom in a little bit closer and see what we've got going on. Where these overlapping warnings are occurring. First of all, I've got the hail indicator up on the right-hand side, and it does look like there is hail up to an inch, quarter-size hail possible, moving across the state line into Collierville. That seems to be where the heaviest rain and the core of the storm is right now, is over Collierville. That is going to be moving into Piperton and Rossville. Already very heavy rain falling in those areas, but we will also see the potential for some hail there. That's also pretty close to where the rotation that the radar is picking up is occurring. And as I say that, passing this along as well, the tornado warning for DeSoto County, that first tornado warning has been canceled. So Richard, DeSoto County is now clear of all warnings. So we got the tornado warning from Collierville to Rossville to Moscow, basically those areas. Still broad rotation in the Collierville area. I would recommend that you are remaining in your safe place. Another 5 or 10 minutes and this storm will be past you, so it's not going to be a long time. But let's heed the warning as it is, as we have it issued right now. And that will continue again for another 10 minutes or so. Those same general areas, plus Germantown, Cordova, Eads, Spring Creek, and then up to Oakland, basically areas south of I-40 are also included in a severe thunderstorm warning for potential for some hail and strong wind gusts. The western portion of that warning, which would include actually a lot of Cordova down to Germantown, say the Germantown Parkway corridor, these storms are now east of you in that area. So the threat is, for now, is over in the Germantown Parkway area of Shelby County. And if we take a little bit closer look, I want to switch radars here and see if I see anything rotation-wise on this out here by Collierville. It would be pretty broad if there's anything out there. I'm really not seeing anything close to the surface of significance. Might be a little bit of broad rotation. This would be kind of on the south side of Collierville, where 72 crosses 385 or 269, or 72 crosses 385. That is kind of the general area where we're seeing the broad rotation. It is moving towards Piperton. And then continuing into Fayette County, probably just to the north of, say, Rossville. So that is the area of concern as far as the rotation is concerned. The north side of that storm we've been talking about all evening has the potential for hail. So that would be right over Collierville proper, and then up to about Spring Creek, potential for hail in those areas, and that will be moving into Piperton and areas north of that as well, kind of rural areas of southwest Fayette County. And farther to the north, we've got those storms that are producing strong wind gusts, crossing kind of almost out of Shelby County now, in the severe thunderstorm area, like Arlington. It's basically just about moving out of Arlington and is headed into northwestern Fayette County. Let me get this pulled up here. Yeah, the eastern part of Arlington's still getting pretty heavy rain, but Galloway, Hickory, Wythe, Oakland, Braden, those areas are getting some pretty heavy rain, basically right along and south of Highway 70 there. And we've got additional storms that are pushing ahead of that front, right down the 61 corridor again. So heavy rain and probably some gusty winds for DeSoto, Tunica, and pushing to the east. That's where we are right now with all that.
All right, we're taking a wider view of this, and you can see the storm that is moving into the Collierville area. Tornado warning has been expired for DeSoto County, but it continues for southeastern Shelby, southern Fayette, and far northern Marshall County. And the storms that are starting to fire up along the river aren't severe. We do not see any threat for severe weather with those, but we are going to continue to monitor. There is some lightning with those cells, but as far as warnings go, there are no warnings associated with any of those cells along the river. Let's take a wider view and look at the area radar. And you can see that there are some storms, or rather there's a warning southwest of Clarksdale, but there are some stronger storms around Clarksdale and up towards West Helena and just to the west of Hernando, right along the river, but none of those cells have any warnings with them. The only warning that we have is south of Clarksdale, and hopefully we can keep it that way. As you can see on the right, all of the counties that are in yellow have tornado watch in effect. The counties, Crittenden County, as well as some counties in Arkansas, have been cleared of the tornado watch. Tornado watch continues until 1 a.m. for the areas in yellow, and you can see the warnings there on the map as well in red, and those continue until 10:30. So if we can get past this last little push of storms firing up along the river, that should be it. Knock on wood.
Yeah, and I think our posture going forward on this is to see these warnings through to 10:30, kind of see what is issued after that. But if there are going to be no further tornado warnings, then we will probably revert back to just social media coverage and pull the covers over this live stream. Hopefully it's been very helpful to you. We've been going here now for 3 hours straight. It has been quite a night. We've certainly had a fair amount of storms and so forth around the area. We set it up with a high risk today, which is the first that we've had in Memphis since 2011. But we've been very fortunate, I think, to not have a multitude of dangerous tornadoes moving through the area. That certainly represents a better possible scenario. severe thunderstorm warning has just been canceled for Shelby County. I'm going to point that out real quick as the storms have moved to the east. And since we've been on this long, we certainly appreciate everyone's support. We've been several hundred of you have logged in tonight to check out the stream, and we really appreciate that. And as mentioned some time ago, we do have a virtual tip jar. All of the proceeds that we make through our Patreon page go right back into the to continuing to provide the services that we do. So none of this is free. It does cost us something to run the servers in the background that make the apps work, and to have the software and radar software and model data and everything that we use to produce these forecasts and bring you this information. So if you are interested in providing us a little bit of support and thanking us for the commitment, then patreon.com/MemphisWeather1 is where you can do that. And we certainly appreciate anything that you can do. That's just an easy way to do it, and we certainly understand if you don't. That's fine too. We will continue to be here for you and put our efforts into making sure that you have the latest information as this type of weather rolls through. So let's recap this severe storm that's moved into Fayette County now. There is still a sliver out, and they were thinking what I'm thinking. The tornado warning was also just canceled for Shelby County. Tornado warning canceled for Marshall County. So now we have severe thunderstorm and tornado warnings covering just Fayette County. That box would go from the southern border of Fayette County up the western border with Shelby County, up to I-40, and then southeast just to the west of Somerville, including Williston. So it is roughly the western half of Fayette County south of I-40. The storm of concern is in pushing into the Rossville area. It's very close to Piperton. Moving towards Rossville, there is a little bit of rotation still on that storm. Given that this storm has moved all the way across DeSoto County, we have not had any reports of any tornadoes on the ground or funnel clouds since it left Tunica County. However, the rotation has maintained all the way across DeSoto County and now into Fayette County. So that is the reason there's still a tornado warning on it. It is radar indicated tornado warning. So the meteorologists at the Weather Service are seeing what we're seeing, and that is rotation on the back edge of this storm, and it is capable of producing a tornado, and so a tornado warning is in effect. The tornado warning is for areas south of US 64, and the severe thunderstorm warning extends up to I-40. So we basically have kind of double coverage of these for the biggest part of the storm, and then the severe thunderstorm warning extending up to the north as well. So most of this right now we would consider a heavy rain, small hail, and a strong wind threat. Probably are seeing some wind gusts out there to 40, 45 miles an hour pretty easily, if not higher than that, within this storm. So certainly is probably keeping some folks awake over there in Fayette County still tonight. The weather that's back behind that, the showers and thunderstorms that extend from the southern part of Shelby County down through areas west of I-55 and North Mississippi, are all what we would term general thunderstorms, meaning they produce mostly lightning and thunder, maybe some small hail, some gusty winds, but nothing that is at this point approaching severe weather. So that is good news for that area of northwest Mississippi. I do see one new tornado warning out just south of our coverage area that was just issued. Actually, it does take into account the far southern portion of Tunica County, just barely. But there's a pretty good storm down near Coahoma and Coahoma County, and that is moving to the northeast. Possible that storm could, in another 45 minutes or so, move into southeastern Tate County, but that's still a ways down the road. We'll have to see what comes of that. But for right now, the only warning that is in the populated portion of the metro is going to be this one over western Fayette County. And do we have the warnings out? Do you need me to pick up some more?
I was just looking at some other things. Looks like we've got a tornado warning outside of our coverage area just off to our southwest, moving into Panola County and Quitman County, those areas.
Yep, and hopefully that all stays down south of the area we're covering here.
There is some additional thunder rolling through here. Some stronger storms, but definitely below severe limits right now. Moving through western DeSoto County, moving into the Hernando area. Not a severe threat for anything there, but we do have some of those storms moving into the area, and those storms will continue to move to the northeast at around 50 to 60 miles per hour. The strongest threat right now, moving into Fayette County, has moved out of Marshall and Shelby County, and those storms continue to move to the northeast at about 50 to 60 miles per hour, and thankfully moving out of the area. Again, we do have some storms a little closer. You can see some strong storms over northern and western DeSoto County right now, but nothing severe.
All right. Yeah, it looks like most of the southern part of the metro is going to be areas south of I-40, east of the river, are going to be the ones getting some rumbles of thunder and heavy rain here for the next hour or so. We are about 7 minutes from the tornado warning expiring off to the east, and I do see a new severe thunderstorm warning that looks to be taking its place. It covers the same area from that storm off to the east into Hardeman County. So a new severe thunderstorm warning that extends through 11:15, almost an hour, covering southern Fayette County south of Highway 64 and into Hardeman County. And as I say that, the tornado warning was just canceled for southern Fayette County. The tornado warning has been canceled for southern Fayette County. If you are sheltering, you may come out of the shelter. You still are under a severe thunderstorm warning, so it is still going to be fairly noisy for a little while longer. But the rotation has weakened such that, and no reports for a good long time, that they decided to, the Weather Service decided to cancel that tornado warning just a few minutes early and replace it with a severe thunderstorm warning. So most of Fayette County, except for areas north of 64 on the eastern side and north of 40 on the western side, are under severe thunderstorm warnings. But the one that covers like Oakland, Hickory With, also just canceled. These things are changing as I'm talking here. So we have, let's see. I'm going to pull my map up here. So this is the severe thunderstorm warning that's in effect now. It is for Williston, Moscow, Somerville, Grand Junction, LaGrange, those areas, basically south of 64 in Fayette County. Severe thunderstorm warning there, extends into Hardeman County. That warning goes till 11:15. It will not last that long in Fayette County. That will be moving out probably in the next 20 to 30 minutes, probably before 11. So at this point, from a regional perspective of the metro, and I'll kind of let this loop as we go through this then, we do have the potential for strong wind gusts and some hail out in the eastern portions of, the southern portions of Fayette County. Actually, I want to change this to our hail indicators there, because that looks like that's actually the biggest threat right now out in southern Fayette County is large hail. And then we have the strong thunderstorms, but not severe, covering southern Shelby County down into North Mississippi. And we have a tornado warning that is for the far, far southeastern portion of Tunica County, and is pointed in the general direction of southeastern Tate County, a little ways down the road. But it is not of a concern right now to the metro area. So no tornado warnings in effect in the metro. cannot completely rule out the possibility in North Mississippi in particular, say Tate and Marshall counties maybe, where we could still see a brief spin up down there. But most of the metro is just going to get these general thunderstorms now, finishing up here in the next hour or so. With a tornado watch that goes till 1 a.m., but likely to be canceled early once this batch moves off to the east in the next hour. So, Richard, any closing comments, or do you think we're safe to go ahead and call it for the night?
If you're concerned about storms overnight, be sure to download the Stormwatch Plus app, and that will keep you advised of any storms that move through the area, any alerts that need to be alerted for you. It's only 99 cents a month, and it gives you up to 5 fixed locations plus en route, which will follow you from place to place. If you're moving about, it'll alert you for whatever location you're in. And you can set customizable alerts, and the tornado warnings and the severe thunderstorm warnings are wake me up alerts. So they will wake you from a dead sleep. You may have heard it earlier, the loud EAS type sound. That was Stormwatch Plus alerting me that there was a tornado warning for DeSoto County, and it's not for the entire county; it's for your precise location. So if you're in, say, southeast DeSoto County, and there's a cell that gets warned for far northwest DeSoto County, and you're not in the warning, you're not going to get the warning. Only if the warning is in your precise location. So go to stormwatchplus.com and download the app for free, and then you can sign up for Stormwatch Plus alerts, which is, again, only 99 cents a month, and it's a good peace of mind to have beside your bed when you're trying to sleep at night.
Perfect. Yep. Great words of advice. As always, we recommend multiple ways of getting warnings, and smartphone alerts are probably the most technologically competent ways of doing that. They give you just the information that you need. So yes, please do check that out, and we'll continue to monitor this through our Twitter and Facebook feeds. So Memphis Weather 1 on Twitter, MemphisWeather.net on Facebook. We'll watch this for a little while longer and make sure that things the storms behave and stay intact as they move out. But we are going to wind up this stream. Appreciate again all of you that have joined us, and we will do it again sometime. But when we do this, that means there's something to talk about. We'd be just fine if we didn't have to do these. So we'll leave it at that. So thanks again. I appreciate it, and we will talk to you again soon. Follow us on social media, and have a good night.